Alrighty, folks. Welcome into the Central Committee stream with your host, Mike from PA. The thing, it paused, didn't it, when I took off my headset? I really need to turn that feature off. I figured out that's what happens. My headset just decides to pause shit if it's taken off my head. Oops. So, whoops-a-doops-a-daisy. I am so sorry, chat. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Yeah, what feature is that? Yes, please pause everything that's on the screen if someone takes their headset off. I want to add that as a feature. What the fuck is that? All right, hold on. Give me 5 seconds, chat. I forgot to turn on my light. I started talking because I'm like, all right, time to hop on camera, and then I realized, oh, you didn't calibrate the fucking camera. Because I like to have natural light, chat. But it's dark this early in the morning. All right, welcome on in, everybody, to the... What the fuck? This is the wrong screen. Welcome in, everybody, to the Central Committee stream with your host, Mike from PA. Where the fuck? What the fuck? This is... There we go. Daylight savings ends on Sunday. It'll be brighter next week. Nice. Anyway, chat, welcome on in. Welcome on into the Central Committee stream with your host, Mike from PA. Wow, we have nothing but good news today, chat. I don't know about you guys, but today, I mean, okay, actually, let me back that up. That's wrong. There is terrible, horrible news in the world. Friend of the show, Dave from Jamaica. I'm Mike from PA. Dave from Jamaica, my oldest, I think, one of my oldest community members, is literally in Jamaica now. He was hit by the hurricane, but he says he's okay. There was a couple leaks in the roof. They had to catch with pots and pans, but overall, he's all right. And so everybody say, you know, send out your thoughts, your prayers if you make them, towards friend of the show, Dave from Jamaica. Stay safe, brother. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. He's not in the chat today for obvious reasons. From MR? Of course from MR. I've known him since well before I was streaming on Twitch. So stay safe, Dave. And that was a horrible hurricane, chat. One of the strongest hurricanes ever. Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica over the last couple days. So Dave seems to be okay. It was, you know, it could have been worse, is what he's saying. And that overall, you know, there may be some damage, but it was relatively minor. I hope that's still true. I'll be reaching out to Dave again. He said that he had satellite internet and solar battery power for his neighborhood, so that he was okay. So that's good. So I believe Hurricane Melissa is currently projected to go out into the Atlantic, finally dropping the Tectone nuke. I am going to be talking about the Tectone situation. A few weird right-wing posters have actually discovered the information about Tectone, or began to discover some of the information that I have been sitting on Tectone, because I wanted to not interfere with the proceedings. But yes, Tectone, we will be discussing the reason why Tectone is not streaming is because he is under legal advice to avoid a order of protection, which is the highest civil restraining order you could get against you, and in most jurisdictions means you can no longer own guns. And this is a permanent order of protection being sought. He already has a temporary order against him right now, and he was apparently violating the order of the temporary restraining order that had been filed against him every time he streamed. And so his legal advice told him to stop streaming because he couldn't stop harassing his victim. This is insane.
I think maybe this is controversial, but they have to crush the other side.
That's right. Oh, that's right. 100 fucking %.
You have to, because you can do one of two things. You cannot challenge the left.
That's
and
right.
let them do their thing.
And then they're going to just run you over, and eventually when they get power, they're going to crush you.
Wait, I thought we had power already.
utter-
Wait a minute. I thought we already had power. I thought that's what happened. I thought the left had already had power. Why are you still around, Asmongold? If that's true, why are you still around? I thought we had power, bro. I thought the left was in power, you fucking worm. Disgusting worm. Ugh. I thought the left controlled the deep state. I mean, chat, I was completely right about Asmongold. For years, I've been saying this fucker was a Nazi. For years, I've been saying he was a Nazi. People were like, no, Mike, he was just a centrist. Yep. And I was like, no. Like, he's been a Nazi for a very long time. I think he was saying that his mom used to watch Nick Fuentes. Isn't that something he said? His mom was an early fan of Nick. Isn't it amazing? The Southern white trash being Nazis? It's crazy how Asmongold is a Nazi. Jesus. That's crazy. His dad was a Hassan fan. I know. Jeez. If someone files a restraining order against a streamer, they have to stop streaming if the person watches? No. That's not. No. You can keep streaming if you have a restraining order against you. It's just that you can't violate the terms of the restraining order. Oftentimes, restraining orders direct a harasser not to address, talk to, or otherwise refer about the person that they are harassing. And Tectone was frequently sending threats through his stream. That's a violation of the restraining order. Like, imagine, like, if you got a restraining order against Bill O'Reilly and he went on his show and said, person, he has restraining order, you know, Jane Doe, I hate you, I'm going to destroy your life. Well, that would be considered sending her threats. Crazy how many top streamers out here are good friends with this Nazi. Like, he's a fucking Nazi. I think his mom liked Alex Jones. Zach likes Nick. No, I think he was saying the other day, I saw a clip of him saying that his mom would watch Nick. It is kind of interesting that Asmongold's politics are closer to his mom than his dad.
Confront them and defeat them. And
destroy them completely. Destroy everything about them. Put the mayors in jail. Put the governors up on the Insurrection Act for sedition. Put all of the people that were doing the shit in front of the detention centers. Put them in mandatory prison labor camps. Any of them that are violent, authorize the police officers to respond with violence to them. Immediately, completely shut it down. Bring in the military if you need to. Bring in the National Guard. Do whatever you need to do. Look and find out who's funding this. Take those people, charge them with incitement for terrorism, put them in Guantanamo Bay. Like, I'm talking about scorched earth, old.
Okay, so basically what we're saying is he wants to disregard the Constitution. So what are you even conserving exactly? What are you even conserving exactly? You want to destroy everything that made America America. There are many flaws with this country, but our strength was our ability to absorb new people that would come in here and take their talents. Like, that is what made America a strong country. Whiteness was an idea invented to defend slavery, a fucking institution that went out the way of the dodo in 1865 as a major economic source of domestic labor. Okay, we still have prisoners that are being compelled to work. But racialized chattel slavery was ended in 1865. What the fuck are you even talking about, man? And whiteness has expanded to include Cubans, for fuck's sake. Like, what are we even talking about here? It's almost like their whole purpose is fueled by racism. But, like, do you think Asmongold would be part of a... like, if you were doing a racialized ideology, do you think Asmongold is the master race? Do you think if you believe in racial hygiene, you'd have a shut-in, agoraphobic, disgusting, filthy fuck would be part of this? Like, he's calling for his own destruction. Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense. Nick isn't white. How do you think Asmongold would answer that, though? I honest to God don't know. I mean, his family, like, did they work? Did they work jobs?
Testament, get them the fuck out.
I think what they understand, what Nick Fuentes and Asmongold, who are pretty much the same guy, what they understand is that their views are not popular. Their views are not popular. In fact, I want to show you what surging. Do you know how many people would identify as a Nazi if you ask them? Not very many. But I want to show you something, chat, that is absolutely unbelievable. Half of Democrats now declare themselves democratic socialists in New York. This is one of the one single charismatic candidate against the entire fucking world of politics. One electoral candidate who looks like he's gonna win. And suddenly, everybody starts considering themselves a socialist. Do you understand why I believe in electoral politics? I believe in electoral politics not because it's the way to get socialism, but it is a way that the masses engage with political ideas. And if you want socialism taken seriously, you have to be in the arena. Based off one charismatic local candidate, half of Democrats in New York say they are best described as democratic socialist. That is absolutely incredible. Manhattan Institute, which is a right-wing think tank, Dem only. Which would you say describes you better? I am a traditional liberal. I am a democratic socialist. Did you see Hassan glazing you about electoral politics yesterday? This is one local candidate. One. This isn't a presidential candidate winning. Can you imagine what Democrats would say if AOC won the nomination? They'd all call themselves democratic socialists. This is one mayoral candidate. One. So everybody who's like, I can't believe it. And this is kind of why Hassan and I are better at politics than a lot of these like online leftists is because the reason why we are more knowledgeable is because we actually talk to normal people. We actually go outside. And we don't just go outside to talk to our small clique of people who already agree with us. We go out there and talk to regular people, and we realize that electoral politics is a tool. And that's exactly what Lenin was saying. Now, I'm not saying the Democratic Party equals a Bush, a communist party or a workers' party, right? But it also doesn't even represent anything. It is just a label that people apply. I keep going back to simulation and simulacra. The Democratic Party, that party word is meaningless in America. It is just a ballot line. And there are a lot of people who self-identify as Democrats. So if you're a Democrat, you'll get their votes. This is just tactical political thought. And this is what I don't, there's so many people that kind of have these rigid categories. They don't understand language. They don't understand concepts freed from words. Thank you for radicalizing. You're welcome, brother. And like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to leave this opportunity for socialist ideas to be promulgated on the table because you have some sort of fixed ideological reaction against the idea of doing a fucking election, you're being a fool. You're being a lifestylist. You hold your views so you can demonstrate to others what you believe so that you look good, rather than what politics should be about, which is self-sacrifice for the good of all. When you talk to DSA or even PSL, you realize that this don't vote, it doesn't matter shit is a few online keyboard warriors. Here's what I feel about PSL. I like them. I like the fact that there is a principled socialist party that's out there trying to make their own way. I like them. And if they ever get someone who's omega charismatic and they start winning power and they start displacing Democrats in a locale, I'll 100% jump on that bandwagon. Okay? I'm there. I am a sympathizer. I'm a supporter. I enjoy it. I think they make, but overall, I mean, let's just be honest, they haven't quite found that yet. So I'm working with the people that are socialists, self-described, that are running in other places. Some as independents, some as Democrats. That's what I do. I mean, my mom voted for Claudia and is now considered herself a host socialist and asked what communism actually means. Communism is like the end state, Honestly, you could say it almost has utopic connotations, right? It is that point where we have transcended capitalism and the commodity and the wage relation, and we have gone beyond you know, it is a system. You know, many people describe it as a moneyless, classless, stateless society. You would be an excellent college professor, but I'm glad you're here educating us instead, because I'm not going back to school. Me neither. First of all, so I want you to understand that we have this. We have this opportunity. This is why I don't say no to electoral politics. It's why I don't try to make, you know, spend all my time shitting on you for caring about it. And yeah, there's going to be annoying shit. Yeah, people that are electoral politicians, like, you know, I think Graham Plattner is an example of like a situation where the guy is extremely flawed. There's no doubt about it. He's extremely flawed. But I think there's a Mao quote about allying with the Mao quote about enemy that I sometimes think about. I'll have to find it. Being a communist in America is illegal, so there's that for one. Yeah, I mean, that's also reality. It's like it's being a communist in America is not technically illegal, but it might as well be. You pretty much if you call yourself a communist, you know, you pretty much give their permission for the government to do all sorts of shit to you and strip benefits from you. So it's usually a bad idea. By the end of the election, do you think it's possible for Zoran to have a 6 or 7 point lead over Cuomo? He already has that. A lot of the polls you're seeing are like where it's head to head. That Silwa never dropped out, chat. The only question is, will Zoran break 50% or not? Oh no. We have chatters saying 6-7 now. Oh no. This is the actual Gen Alpha brain rot. The Gen Alpha brain rot. Do you guys even know what that comes from? Do you guys even know what that comes from? Do you Gen Alphas even understand what 6-7 is? That's what's really funny about 6-7 is it's like, I'm such a boomer. I'm like, what does that mean? And most of the people that say it are like, I don't know. It's just something you say. They're actually kind of right, but they're also wrong, but it doesn't even matter anymore. The absurdity and annoyingness is the joke for most people. Oh, exactly. But that's actually not true. 6-7 was really about an attempt to go viral. It's very, honestly, try hard. People say 6-7 because they're trying to get clipped. That's what it is. It's honestly streaming culture. It is young kids trying to go viral. It's not Skibidi, because Skibidi is as absurdist humor that actually exists, whereas 6-7 is just people standing around saying 6-7, hoping somebody clips it so that they could go viral. It's like very, very, very panopticon shit. Mike, click the links. What the fuck? How come Etymology Nerd is like me, but actually makes shorts about shit? God damn it.
I think the best way to understand the 6-7 meme is through the lens of the French philosopher Michel Foucault, who argued that surveillance creates a form of discipline that structures how we behave in society. I mean, if you look at the history of 6-7, the meme is heavily tied to clip farming culture, where NBA players would say the number in order to get turned into an edit on TikTok. Eventually, the trend spread beyond basketball to Gen Alpha children who would also say 6-7 on camera in hopes of going viral. Fundamentally, these early iterations of the joke relied on that idea of getting clipped, meaning that they optimized a real-world interaction for a perceived online audience. Ew. It is performed with this implicit awareness that the algorithm is always watching, kind of like what Foucault refers to with the idea of the panopticon, and we've so internalized this constant knowledge of the digital gaze that we conform to it in our offline behaviors. However, at a certain point, our conformity started to parody itself, and 6-7 turned into a burlesque manifestation of brain rot in real life. It doesn't have to be said in front of a camera anymore, but has instead become an absurd, meaningless reference, continuing to ironically perform the logic of social media in unrelated contexts. To reference 6-7 is to satirically comply with the panopticon, but simultaneously subvert it through the same algorithmic language that made it popular in the first place. I think the best way to understand,
I mean, like, this is like catnip for me, but he's totally right, and that's why we don't like it. This is spicy right-wing drama. I am posting 2 text exchanges with Charlie Kirk where he calls Nick Fuentes vermin, and it's just even by debating him and defeating his arguments nevertheless amplifies him. One could only imagine what Charlie would say about Tucker's butt-licking interview with Fuentes. Yeah, chat, should we watch that and debunk it and make fun of it? But I want to say one other thing about it. Do you notice how the right sees a movement growing, even though it's a Holocaust denier? And because it has popular support, they immediately start integrating it into the main right-wing networks. Immediately. They are like, oh, right-wing energy? Please come in. And they immediately boost it to everybody. Whereas on the left-wing energy, the Democrats and the centrists are like, destroy it, shut it down. He's an anti-Semite. Dinesh is extremely irrelevant, and Tucker Carlson is likely the next Republican nominee. I think Tucker Carlson will be the nominee in 2028. I think Tucker Carlson will be the next Republican presidential nominee. I am a Tucker bro as far as the betting on him to win, because he's the only right winger that has any level of verbal felicity. He's the only right winger who is like semi-intelligent in the way that he poses his arguments. And 3, he's got a massive fan base of hardcore right wingers. Like, he's by far and away the best. Got the best shot. And we live in the fucking streamer world now. It makes sense that the next Republican nominee would be a streamer president. And he's way smarter than Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hate Tucker Carlson, but it's very clear to me it's unless he doesn't want it. That's the only way he doesn't become president. I think he wants it, though. I don't think Vance has the motion compared to Tucker. And Vance is a fucking AIPAC shill. So what Tucker Carlson will do is say Vance is a fucking puppet for Israel and not America first. It'll be interesting because it will be right-wing billionaires and Zionists against the Republican grassroots of fascism. That's my prediction for the right. What is Tucker's full name again? I don't fucking remember. Watch the Bet a Minute video on Nick. That might be a good idea. 40 minutes? 40 fucking minutes? Might be worth watching. God.
Democrats have been losing working class voters steadily for some number of years now. Yeah. It's been a decline, and now you see Republicans winning among both non-college and lower income voters. Yeah. It didn't used to be like that. This is a change. This gets called class de-alignment. Not my favorite term.
It's very catchy.
Very catchy. Talk me through class de-alignment.
The Democrats on surveys, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the vast majority of working class people and Americans in general said the Democratic Party, what they think of when the Democratic Party is that's the party of working people, right? And by the 90s, 2000s, that was no longer the case. And, my version of the story anyway, is that Democrats started to move away from their focus on working class issues in the 1970s and 80s.
There's a tons of videos of Fuentes saying he hates poor people, wants to physically attack service workers. Someone needs to share those widely. Most Americans hate poor people, especially poor Americans, because in America, everybody is a temporarily embarrassed millionaire. Everybody's about to get out. Everybody's about to get out of whatever bad neighborhood they're in, and they're going to leave everybody behind. Like, how many of you have seen memes about how if I win the lottery, I'll just disappear? You don't hear people saying, if I win the lottery, I'm going to fix my community. How many times do people go, I'll win the lottery and I'll fix up my hometown. I'll build a school. I mean, that's what I would do, but you understand that in America, the fascist conception is if I get good fortune, I'm abandoning everybody I came up with. Social climbing is endemic. How many people have you seen, even on the left, parasite off of me, and the moment they get their own motion, try to stab me in the back? As self-described leftists, by the way. I mean, it's like American brain rot, neoliberal brain rot is incredibly common in this country. Dark Matter 2025. If you want to link me a YouTube video, I'll look at it. What we need is a long-term sustained government-sponsored housing sector that guarantees housing in a decommoded fashion. Vienna has been demonstrating this for 100 years. It's not complicated. Okay, dude. Are you just going to quote my tweets? Are you just going to copy and paste? I'm the streamer. I steal your takes. You don't steal my takes. I steal your takes, and then I post them as if they're my own. You don't steal my takes and then post them as if they're your own in my chat. Great mega lie. That looks pretty good. You know who I want to go after, chat? Atrioc. It's time for me to go after Atrioc, because I've noticed he's becoming a political streamer. I don't even know if you guys have noticed this, but Atrioc has started to become a political streamer. So I need to debate Atrioc, because I gotta be honest, I've watched a lot of political content creators, and I think he might be the least substantive one I've seen in a while. I mean, outside of like far right people, like fucking Asmongold or something. Like Atrioc's politics, it would be very funny to peel back that. He's basically doing a Destiny but nice, which is, I see that there are far right people and there are far left people online. So that gives me a market segment where I could be a smug liberal, but online. That's Atrioc's politics. It's not very more substantive than that. Whose work, Atrioc or Hutch? Oh, Hutch by a billion. Hutch by a billion. He thinks the system works because it did for him. It's like, why do you guys hate America? As a lottery winner, it's working great for me. We don't need to change anything, but maybe tinker around the edges a little bit.
Black friends.
What's your opinion on racism?
Yeah, he's DCE. I'm just straight up racist. He's never not said that. There's no inconsistent. I support remigration. What is that? What is that?
Remigration? You're fucking white. You're fucking white. What are you gonna move back to? You look like you're fucking from some sort of potato. When they by the way, they brought the potato from America. Potato is due to multiculturalism. This is just a TP USA guy. Who gives a fuck?
With, you know, this sort of onset of deregulation, and then eventually leading into the Clinton years when, you know, he signs NAFTA, which has devastating effects on communities, leading to, you know, not just job loss, but community devastation. And the Democrats, you know, there's a great paper called Compensate the Losers that sort of gets into this. And that's basically what they said is, you guys got screwed. Okay. But, you know, we're going to do different kinds of redistribution that's going to make you whole again. We're not going to necessarily get you good jobs again. We're not going to necessarily give you the social status that you used to have when you had high paying jobs that you felt good about and that were meaningful in your community. But we're going to make sure that, you know, you have something like a decent education. We're going to get you some kind of better health care, whatever. And that wasn't enough. You know, it was not nearly enough to stem the tide of stagnating wages and stagnating quality of life. And so working class people generally, many of them started to feel betrayed by the Democratic Party. And, you know, it was in fits and starts, you know, but then in 2016, you know, the floodgates opened. And, you know, obviously that was related to Trump. And, you know, he was like cribbing speeches from Richard Trumka, the president of the...
Did you see Atrioc on Gavin Newsom's podcast? Do you see what I mean, chat? The moment there's anybody... I mean, what's Atrioc's stream? Like, what's his stream name? Is it like Atrioc? Does he actually stream on Twitch? Or is he only a YouTuber? No, he streams on Twitch. He was talking about Milei winning in Argentina. Milei won in Argentina. You mean the midterms that were probably rigged? Relevant Hutch? What's this? I miss Joe Manchin so much. This sucks. Joe Manchin didn't even run. Joe Manchin gave up. So he blocked all of Joe Biden's agenda, making Joe Biden unpopular, right? He upheld the filibuster and then he didn't run. Why would you miss that? Like, how dumb are you? If the shoe was on the other foot, a Republican would just vote with the party on everything and then at least try to run again. And then if they lost, they would then go and work as a lobbyist making millions. Whereas for a Democrat like Hutch, you have a Democrat that blocks the entire agenda, votes with the Republicans, upholds the filibuster, makes the Democrats as unpopular as possible by criticizing them and making it look bipartisan, and then quits without even challenging a Republican. And then you miss that? Are you born a cuck or are you just stupid? Now, I would respect Joe Manchin if he had, like, say, for example, got a bunch of electoral reform over the finish line. If he had passed a bunch of bills that he knew were probably not that popular in West Virginia, but would help build the Democrats up nationwide, where they could make up for his lost seat in, say, Wisconsin or something. But no. What did he do? He stayed neutral. Joe Manchin stayed neutral in, like, Wisconsin Senate race. So, like, missing Joe Manchin means you miss the time where the Democrats are weak and pathetic. Speaking of Hutch, this is how a deep dive into Hassan hate industrial complex. This time I analyzed how often Hassan the Hun and Hutchinson mention each other in 2025. Hassan has mentioned Hutch 35 times over 17 streams. Hutch has mentioned Hassan 1,340 times in 205 videos on his channel. Honestly, I should mention Hassan more and try to get into the Hassan industrial complex. But then make it a meme where, like, in the first minute, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe Hassan did this. I can't believe that this is just the worst. Oh, I can't believe that Hassan is so humble. He should be more braggadocious. He should be out there saying he's like 61 seconds into the video, I just become a pro Hassan video and see if I can hook the algorithm and make that a meme, because there's very clearly a fascist algorithm in YouTube. You want me to prove it to you? Take a look at this. So an Irish socialist won the presidency. So the very top reserve. So Irish Socialist wins. That's what I searched. Now remember, chat, this is me, the Central Committee stream. I watch left-wing content non-stop. Okay? Why is my algorithm pushing me to Sky News Australia? Walking disaster. Catherine Connolly won the Irish election off of a technicality. Lunatic lefty. New Irish president elected with extremely left-wing views. Why is Sky News Australia with like 10,000 views being pushed to the top of the search? What's your opinion on Bada Padada comparing Hassan to Vosh? Hassan saying that we should vote for socialists in order because that's where the masses are, which is something that Lenin said. Whereas Vosh said you should vote for Joe Biden for lesser evilism, and they say they're the same is absolutely fucking stupid. I don't even see socialist written anywhere. I know, isn't that amazing? And then here's the actual ABC News Australia 4K views down below these fucking dumb things. And then all of a sudden Kamala Harris and then Nick Fuentes? What? Why is Nick Fuentes there?
We begin with the breaking news that Catherine Connolly will be the next president of Ireland following the concession of her opponent, Heather Humphreys. Less than an hour ago, she admitted and offered Miss Connolly her congratulations. Despite the concession, counting is continuing and no official results have yet been declared. Tallies from count centres show that Catherine Connolly does have a strong lead. She's an independent member of the Irish Parliament whose campaign has been supported by left-wing opposition parties, including Sinn Féin. Let's speak to our Ireland correspondent, Chris Page. What are the tallies showing, Chris?
Yes, the tallies are showing that Catherine Connolly is on course to be the next president of Ireland, and very possibly she might win this presidential election by the largest margin ever. She is, as you say, Martine,
by the way, top result claims it's a technicality.
Left-wing independent candidate, but she's backed by an alliance of the left-wing opposition parties in the Irish Parliament, the biggest of which is...
Bada Padada is like the left's Ian Miles Wrong? No. The Ian Miles Wrong at least tries to do what we need. Like, he's not constantly attacking Trump, right? You know what I mean? I hope that Bada Padada would just be our attack dog, our unhinged attack dog. But unfortunately, he's fallen into the Hassan hate whirlpool. Can you imagine looking at the world today and spending your videos making videos against Zoran Mamdani and Hassan? What a joke, man. And guess what happened? Guess what happened to Bada Padada? Obviously we want to look at the Irish Socialist winning, which is great. That's good news. But look at this shit. Like, look how embarrassing this is. Like, I told him, like, I actually had a conversation with him and I was like, not Sully, no. I was like, it's really good that Hassan is promoting you now. And he's like, it has nothing to do with Hassan. So when he was blowing up, and I was like, yes, it does, dude. Like, what do you mean? He's like, no, it's the algorithm. You don't understand YouTube. And I would be like, I don't know how to spell. What the fuck? Am I stupid? I am very stupid. Why is it not popping? I like doubted myself and started changing the spelling because it wouldn't pop up. Oh, there it is. Jesus. But you see how like he stopped gaining subscribers for the entire month of September? Although his live channel is the one that really was the one that was blowing up. See how it went into negative subscribers now? Like Hassan started talking about him, you know, then there was the Ethan Klein shit, right? Like around March, April was when we were going the hardest against Ethan Klein. And then he changed to being a Hassan hater channel, and now he's negative subscribers. And now all he's doing is making weird anti-Hassan content. It's just like sad and pathetic. Adam Panada misunderstands his own analytics. Adam Panada thinks that the growth he has had is due to the algorithm boosting him on its own, organically, because he has attacked people like Ethan Klein. But Bada Padada, he doesn't, like, if you watch your somebody's video on your stream, the YouTube analytics do not properly understand what is happening. Like, there may be an entry for direct links from a link that's put in the chat, but in reality what happens is you get injected into the algorithm of pro Hassan content creators. You get on the clip channels, and there becomes a link between you and Hassan on YouTube. And Hassan has millions of subscribers on YouTube. And the moment he watches your stream and people post a bunch of reacts, the YouTube algorithm all of a sudden connects you to Hassan, and all of your shit starts getting recommended to Hassan viewers. And because, anyway, it's whatever. I mean, his community is psychotic. There is a weird interpretation of Western you have to understand that Badapadada's politics aren't really intended to be coherent, right? Like, he basically doesn't believe in politics in general. He's more of just a nihilist. He just thinks that it's fun to use the aesthetics of leftism in order to kind of terrorize, or I don't know, not terrorize is too strong of a word. It's more like just be annoying. Just be annoying, make money off YouTube, and, you know, he doesn't believe that anything constructive could come from the internet. And every time you prove that, and by the way, there's other people like that. You know, there's other people that claim to be Hassan fans, but when you say, hey, why are you attacking Hassan all the time? They say, oh, no. Oh, I'm attacking Mike and Hassan. What am I going to do? Destroy Twitch streams? They don't matter at all. It's the thing that I'm doing in person. And it's like, and then Hassan goes to a Zoran rally, or Hassan goes to an anti-ICE protest, and all these people are coming up to him on the streets and saying, hey, you're why I'm here. People ignore that because they want to just attack Hassan, and so they ignore all that reality in order to fit the narrative they want to push. And there's no way, it's not a thought that's actually supported by evidence. It is just I want to do a thing, so I rationalize it by saying it doesn't matter when I'm bad. The thing I hate on BE is how he rarely covers South American news, especially the biggest country in the region, Brazil, and what he covers is basically a liberal view of the news and usually lacks understanding of the situation. Blazing Lula, which is neoliberal. It's really weird how he never touches the actual Marxist-Lenin movement growing in South America. I mean, that would actually have value. Any books on leftist policy? A person that I really like, if you want to like read somebody who does a lot of like Matt Bruning is kind of like Bernie aligned guy who I think I'm misspelling it. How do you spell it? Left wing policy wonk Matt Bruning? What the fuck? Like misspell. Okay, that's how you spell his name. Matt Bruning. I couldn't spell his chat. My spelling is off today. My spelling is super off today. He oftentimes gets into very specific wonkish views, and he gets down in the details and helps build. He's trying to build like a left-wing policy space that's actually like actionable in America today. Yeah, the People's Policy Project. That's what it is. Now I would call it like actually like democratic socialist wonky shit. And he's really fun if you want to get interested in like actual policies that we could support right now on various issues from like a solidly left-wing perspective. So he's like he's pretty good if you want to get more into some wonkish policy articles and shit. I just got done watching The Wire. Is the whole show an exaggeration of the state of despair of many cities the U.S. are in, or is everything actually going on the shit like they show it? I would say that The Wire is a sanitation of reality. I would say that The Wire is much nicer than American cities are like. Mike, someone is making fake II videos of black women complaining about SNAP benefit cuts, and right-wingers are losing their minds over the fake videos.
In 5 days, it is a taxability to take care of my kids. They cut off EBT. Shut down. I can't use EBT in November. I got 7 kids with 7 daddies. Who's supposed to feed them? Them men ain't paying for nothing. They cut my motherfucking food $85 from $738. Look, that's supposed to support a household of 3.
You know, I didn't really notice all the issues with the EBT stuff because I've been too busy working. Like every time I go to the grocery store, my card cleared. My debit card, credit card, doesn't matter what card I use. I work 7 days a week and I've just never even really cared. This is why people...
I work 7 days a week. Do you prefer black or brown shoe leather polish?
Don't care about EBT. They don't care about it.
I think people need to understand what's going on here. If you are a right-wing creator on this, your algorithm for the last 2, maybe 2.5 weeks has been nothing but these videos of SNAP recipients freaking out about losing their benefits and saying these genuinely ridiculous things like it's the taxpayer's job to pay for my kid. The reason is these videos are designed and targeted to this specific algorithm because this algorithm, these set of people have zero media literacy and zero critical thinking. Watch this.
Y'all hear me? Because of this government shutdown, they telling me I can't use my EBT in November. I got 7 kids with 7 men. 7! And that's the taxpayer's responsibility, okay? Y'all taxpayers, do you hear me? Since this government shut down, I can't
not sure if they're taking videos from real people and using their face to make AI, but that shit looks...
Shout out to that last creator. Go follow her because she put that together, that montage. It's the same fucking video. It's AI. It's the same script. It's, you type in angry black woman, and it has to be a black woman for this to work. Angry black woman screaming about losing benefits to feed her 7 kids by 7 different daddies, and it's the taxpayer's responsibility. It's the same fucking script. All screaming, all with kids in the background usually. And if you notice, if you go back and look on that montage, that's all from one account. That's all from a singular fucking account that's posted all of those videos. It's the same videos that the original creator was referencing. It's AI. Those are fake videos. If you're seeing nothing, if you're...
Is it just me or is this guy's pupil blown and he should go to the emergency room immediately?
Algorithm is full of nothing but these types of videos, you're going to probably have a visceral reaction to it and come out and say something that sounds to the rest of us who haven't seen these videos really fucking heartless. Toast lady. Because you're furious that all these people are making videos talking about how it's the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of their kid. Here's another version with white people.
They just cut my stamps again. Took them right out from under us like we ain't even people. I gotta figure out how to feed these kids now. I swear to God, I'm about to go apply anywhere that'll have me.
They cut my food stamps. It's my patriotic duty to get a job. I gotta feed myself, my wife, and our babies. I'm serious. I gotta do it.
They cut my food stamps in half last week. Half. Don't know how we're even gonna make it through till Friday. But you know what? This is my country. Ain't nobody else gonna feed my babies for me. It's on me now.
Almost damn near the same template as the women. You know, panic, dirty faces, kids running around in the background. But the white people are doing their patriotic duty and they've got to do what they've got to do, and they're going to go apply to any place that will have them, and they, you know, they've got to take care of their kids now. Do you think this shit is an accident? Do you think that they're pumping out AI videos of black women talking about how they have 7 kids with 7 daddies and it's the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of their kids? And then the exact same template with a white person is, I got to do my patriotic duty and get a job. By the way, that was also one creator. The white AI, the white people AI EB was also a single creator. Here's another one. If you scroll down just a few more videos in their grid, here's another one of the videos that they posted.
Keep it coming. You're doing great.
It's fake. It's all fake. That was the same creator that had a montage of white people complaining about EBT is posting AI videos of like fat people. It's a joke. It's all just a joke. Here's another example. This one might not be AI, okay? This is a different type of video that these people are seeing.
My food stamps just got cut from a little over $3,000 a month to $800 a month. And I'm pregnant with my 9th child, and I genuinely don't know how I'm gonna pay the grocery bill. The money we saved by having the government pay for our groceries, we were using to pay for our mortgage. But now, if we're gonna have to use our mortgage money to eat, I don't know how.
Here's another video from that creator, just a few videos down in her grid from that video. And I'm warning you, this is really fucking gross. I'm just gonna play a couple seconds of it because it's disgusting.
My husband made the semen soup, and I promised you guys I would give you an update on how it tastes after I tried it. So here we go.
She's not AI, she's just a shit poster. I mean, she's just posting ridiculous for views. That semen soup video, along with most of her content, gets 0 engagement, like nothing. Snap benefits video where she's talking about her benefits going from $3,000 to $800. Nobody gets fucking $3,000 in Snap, but she's a shit poster. That video got a ton of engagement. That was a huge success for her. So you have...
Also, she said mortgage like she owns a house.
On the one hand, you have just AI farms pumping out a shit ton of videos that are playing to like visceral responses. Black people talking about how it's the taxpayer's responsibility. And you notice how they don't say it's the government's responsibility. That's fucking market tested for rage bait. If you say it's the government's responsibility, the word government has a negative connotation. You might get people that agree with you on that one. But if you say it's the taxpayer's responsibility, that is more likely to induce rage because people are more likely to see them as a taxpayer rather than a contributor to the government or part of the government. It's market tested rage bait, and it's being pumped out 24 hours a day. And as soon as any one of these MAGA creators engages with it, they're gonna see hundreds of videos. This is what we're up against because these people have zero media literacy, zero critical thinking skills. How do you possibly explain to these people, these videos look so fucking real, and they're not. They're fake. They're AI. How do you explain that to people, that what they're seeing with their own fucking eyes is not real? And they're basing their entire worldview and their entire political argument off of something that isn't. We're out here arguing the statistical facts that less than 1% of people on food stamps commit fraud, that almost everybody on food stamps works, and that they get the average food stamp per month is $500. Some people get a lot less. But we're not arguing with people who are arguing facts. We're arguing with people who are been brainwashed by AI. This is a fucking terrifying time to be alive. And this is why I've been talking about for years. I don't think a certain subset of this population, I think we are devolving as a technology is too much for some people to have, because most of us look at those videos and go, this doesn't seem right. Like this looks really odd. It's really weird that all of these women are saying the exact same thing. It's like it's scripted. But some people see that and it just triggers a rage in them. It's rage bait.
I think what you have to understand is that politics is about identity. I've been trying to explain this for a long time. This is one of the formative political ideas that I have, is that politics is about self-identity. And then so think of it like a self-identity factor, and then there is an activation factor or a empowerment factor. Right? Okay. Does that make sense? So like people, let me get a paint. I'm not a paint drawer, although I should try to like do more paint. So people have like their identity, and then they have like, what's a good word for it? I don't know. Empowerment's not a good factor, but it's like their political engagement. Those are the two factors that people have, lead to them becoming like actively useful in politics, right? So the most important thing is your identity formation element. Like what you're trying to do is you want people to form identities that will align with your political goals. Your political, political goals is fine. Like that is the essence of political persuasion. I want you to think about politics where you identify with the group that will benefit from my ideological program. That is my political goal. Political engagement, what I refer to there, what that means is it's like your self conception of the efficacy of your political work. So what I'm saying there is like, do you think that politics will make your life better? That's another way of putting that. Okay. So if your identity is, member of the working class, you're going to want policies that help the working class, right? If you identify as a Democrat, then you are going to want policies that help Democrats. Do you understand the difference between the two? One thing about political engagement is this usually only goes in one direction. Once you are activated, you stay activated. Oh, I'm misspelling activated. Okay, there you go. Once you're activated, so basically once a person thinks politics affects me, I can do political work and it matters, you're activated forever. You're never going to go back to not believing it, but your identity shifts. What you identify as changes based on your political, cultural, and material interests. Okay? But once a person is political, they usually stay political. And so this is what we need. This is the reality. Is like we're working on these two factors. I need you to have that working class. Now, like if you, by the way, let me just erase this because I don't even like seeing the word Democrat on my screen. I just can't stand looking at it. I do not identify. Oh, fuck. I do not identify as a Democrat. I do not identify as a Democrat. Democrat identity is 0% of my brain. I just do not identify as a Democrat at all. And the reason why is because the Democratic Party doesn't mean anything. Rightward shifts at each point, not vertically aligned, uneven spacing. I can't. I'm sorry. I didn't do a thing. I was just typing shit. I was making new boxes each time. Anyway, but do you get my point? Do you understand what I'm saying? So what I mean by this is these people identify as tax-paying conservatives. right? Who don't get no bennies from the government. Now, that's an identity that is not based on facts, but that is what they politically believe. All these shit they get is invisible to them. All the benefits the government is, pouring on them, either is invisible to them or they say they deserve it. Any benefits somebody else is getting, but they're not, that's what their tax dollars are paying for. That is the typical Republican identity. And they don't identify as part of a similar class of people. The fact that this is fake, if you point it out to these guys, that video is fake. That video you made is completely fake. They do not give a shit. They do not give a shit. They'll be like, well, the fact that I believe it says something, doesn't it? The fact that I believe, by the way, if you want to see this, I'm going to retweet it. The fact that I believe it, that says something, right? Like there are a lot of spongers out there that don't pay their fair share and they're living large. But if you actually look at SNAP benefits, if you go and look at SNAP benefits, for example, this is Texas, you get $298 for a single person to eat for a month. That's what people are crying about. A family of 4 people, $994. $994. Some people get less because they make too much money. And the maximum family income you can have for a family of 4 and get that money is $4,421. Does that sound like a lot of money for a family of 4 people? It's only $53,000 a year for a family of 4. So the people getting SNAP are people that are not making money. If you're a single person, if you make more than $25,000 a year, you can't get that $298. I mean, this is the poorest of the poor, and it's a tiny amount of money that could only be spent on food. All right, let's go back to feeling good about how the Irish Socialists are winning.
Sinn Féin, she's been ahead throughout the campaign in the opinion polls and the tallies from count centres all over Ireland today.
Like I said, I paid $1,200 a month just for groceries for my family of 5, me and my wife and 3 children. I mean, honestly, that's a pretty low amount, bro. I mean, you get paid or you pay only that amount, then you're not spending very much. I mean, I go to the grocery store and I pick up like 4 or 5 things and you're looking at hundreds of dollars. And it's like not extravagant shit either. It's like a pack of ground beef and some ketchup or something. Average weekly cost for most Americans is $200. Yeah, exactly.
Have been showing consistently. She's got a very strong lead over her opponent, Heather Humphreys, from the centre-right party, Fine Gael, which is one of the main parties in the coalition government here in Dublin. So the final result will be declared here at Dublin Castle in a few hours' time, but Heather Humphreys has conceded defeat, saying she's congratulating Catherine Connolly on becoming the next President of Ireland, saying she wishes her all the very, very best. Just in the last few minutes, we've actually had just the first official figures from a count centre, and that is from a constituency in Cork City. It's put Catherine Connolly on 64% of the first preference vote, Heather Humphreys on 28%. A very high proportion of spoiled ballots. That proportion is running to more than 10% in that constituency in Cork. And again, that is something that we're seeing reflected across the country. And it's emerging as really another big story out of this election. People deliberately spoiling their ballots. In the main Dublin Count Centre I was earlier this morning, we saw many ballot papers with messages written on them about issues such as immigration and crime, very strongly worded, some of them, to say the least. So politicians, particularly from the government parties, have been out today saying they've got to take this seriously. This is a significant message about the number of people in this country who will be disaffected by politics in general, and also by the 2 candidates on the ballot paper. That's putting all that aside. This very much is Catherine Connolly's day. She's on course for a landslide victory in this presidential election.
What powers does the president...
By the way, she won on a technicality, guys. Actual reality landslide.
President have to fix some of the things that people are vexed about?
Well, it is a largely ceremonial role, but the President of Ireland has significant influence in shaping the national debates, establishing the nation's values, some would say, and also in representing the country abroad. So Catherine Connolly is a veteran left-winger. She has spoken out on foreign affairs throughout her career and during this campaign. She's criticised the US and the UK for their stance on the Middle East. She has criticised other European countries for increasing their defence spending, and that's something that's drawn criticism from her opponents. But Catherine Connolly's campaign very much have presented her as the anti-establishment candidate against the establishment candidate, as they say it, Heather Humphreys, from a party that's been in government here for the best part of 15 years now. And Catherine Connolly, her main line of attack on Heather Humphreys is that the Dublin governments repeatedly over the last decade and a half haven't resolved a crisis in housing that has seen many people priced out of the housing market, and they also haven't given people a rising standard.
I mean, it's just so ridiculous to think that Ireland can't have abundant housing. Like, it's like, come the fuck on. Like, neoliberalism is so bad at everything. It can't provide anything. Like, why would, like, it actually blows my mind that people support neoliberalism. Like, I can't believe Atrioc exists. Like, it's unbelievable that somebody can look at the world that we've lived in over the last 45 years of neoliberalism, see nothing but decline as far as the average person's standard of living and their ability to, like, afford a home, healthcare, education, and food, and go, yep, this works really well. I need to make, like, an Atrioc React hour where I just make fun of Atrioc. Like, I think we should do that. I want to start posting, like, Atrioc is wrong about X. But then we'd have to watch Atrioc, though. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Of living, even though the economy on paper has been doing well. So Catherine Connolly, I think, may not be quite as outspoken once she's president as she was whenever she was a backbencher in the Irish Parliament. But nonetheless, we've got a very interesting counterweight going on here between the parties in government and the politician who will be taking up residence in the president's mansion called Arasanu Turon.
Let our words ring out so loud tonight that Andrew Cuomo can hear them in his $8,000 a month apartment. Let them ring so loud so that he can hear us even if he's in Westchester this evening. Let them ring so loud that his puppet master in the White House hears us.
Mike, start with the Gavin Newsom Atrioc podcast. It's absolutely incredible that this guy, who's roughly about the same size of a streamer as me, gets invited on the Gavin Newsom podcast immediately. Do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference of how this shit goes? Isn't that funny?
New York is for sale.
That was from Sunday's boisterous rally in Queens for Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee for mayor in New York City. 13,000-seat venue was nearly filled with supporters. It featured progressive stars Senator Bernie Sanders.
Didn't he goon to deepfakes of Cutie, Cinderella, and their friends? Yes, he did do that. Yeah, he had deepfake porn of, like, various streamers on as an open tab while he was streaming. I guess he was, like, paying for it. Assad was worried last night because the polls show Cuomo up a little. You mean in head-to-heads that is not the way the race is set up? If you guys want to give me the polls, I'll make fun of them for you.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio. And we are now exactly 1 week away from Election Day across the country. Got big races in New York City.
Guys, I know that this is hard for you to believe. The Democratic Party knows who I am. I know it's hard for you to understand and believe it, but it is. They know who I am. Mike, did I cover the Tectone stuff? Not yet, but I will.
Along with two other major elections for governor in New Jersey and Virginia. MSNBC will have special election coverage beginning at 7 p.m. next Tuesday. I'll be there with Rachel and the whole team, so tune in for that. Zohran Mamdani continues to hold a double-digit lead in that New York race, but in these finals week,
he was forgiven and atoned for it. Let's dunk on his shit live takes. People just ask me if that's something that he did. I'm not trying to hold it over their head. I'm just confirming it's the same guy.
It has become a more hard-fought contest between Mamdani and his rivals, the former governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa.
This is what Hassan said about you, Mike. Hold on. Let me get the link. Fuck is this?
Part of the early voting periods. I trust Michael from Pennsylvania, especially when it comes to elections. Does this mean that
first of all, there's a couple things I want you to know. One, the polls don't show Cuomo actually doing that well with old people. Number one. The other thing is Sliwa or Silwa, however you say his fucking name, he's still in the race, folks. This is a general election. There's going to be like 20%, 30% Republicans. Okay, like Sleazwa, whatever his fucking name is. The idea that Cuomo, like, just because older voters are tending to show up in an odd year election, which of course they were, is some sort of indication that there's a late Cuomo surge is just nonsensical and not based on anything. Cuomo has to actually, like, the right-wing vote is split.
Voters will like the young voters will actually turn out in numbers necessary to overcome the olds. We shall see.
Can you remind people to donate to their local food banks? Of course. And Eric Adams is still on the ballot, which he won't get that many votes, chat. He won't get that many votes. Voters are pretty good at that. Maybe he'll get like 1 or 2%.
Needs a fucking mandate, because without it, the sharks will smell the blood in the water. No, I mean, it's fine. It is mandate or not. Mamdani victory here is fantastic. It's phenomenal. Okay. Mike from PA said the older voters tended to vote in the first days of the early voting, while younger early voters tend to vote in the later part of the early voting periods. I trust Michael from Pennsylvania, especially when it comes to elections. He has a pretty good understanding of this stuff.
Pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Well, it's time to bring me on for election night. Hassan better bring me on for election night. I'm gonna have to message him. I'm gonna be like, Hassan, pretty good from PA.
I don't think it's copium for people who think like, you know, he's coping or whatever, or it's
What is the reason for young people voting later? I want to learn. The answer is that young people are less conscientious in general, and they have more going on in their lives. So they will wait till it's like, excuse me. It's like saying the people that do their homework early versus the people that turn it in on the deadline. What percentage of people turn their homework in closer to the deadline? How many people get a homework assignment and work on it immediately until it's done? That's the answer.
It's no longer Cuomo over. It's Zoran over.
Now, there is no reason to believe whatsoever that there's been any shift. There's been no like political, there hasn't been any kind of like scandal. There hasn't been any catalyst to move the numbers significantly. Young people are still passionate about Zoran, and Cuomo, quite frankly, is becoming less prominent even in media spaces. So unless there's some sort of like big surge in New York that I'm not aware of because I'm not there, I have seen no indication whatsoever that it's happening. I mean, like, look at this. The Gotham AARP poll only has Cuomo up 0.1% with people that are older than 65 plus. It means a Cuomo election is literally impossible. A Cuomo election is literally impossible with these kind of numbers. Now, it is good that you're scared, because if you're in New York, you better fucking go vote. If you're in New York, you better fucking go vote. If you're in New York, you better grab a fucking canvassing shift. And if you're like, Mike, I don't care that much. Zoran, he's not that interesting. Let me play you a political ad to maybe motivate you again.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America hate the Democratic Party.
I think we're all on the same page that we hate the Democratic Party.
Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy. In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery. It lays its egg in another bird's nest. The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We can put forward a clear, aggressive, principled strategy that pushes back against the Democratic leadership and the Democratic Party as a whole.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
The Democratic is a tool that we use.
Once in office, DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups. City halls and state houses start running as socialist machines, controlled by the organization, not the Democratic Party, and certainly not voters.
They have to have a connection with DSA's internal politics, and they have to be committed to the eventual goal of building a separate entity from the Democrats.
DSA are revolutionaries, and the Democrats are their first victims. And in city after city, DSA victories prove their plan works.
I think that the model that we used in New York is 100% replicatable.
And just like the cuckoo, once the DSA grows strong, it pushes the true Democrats out, hollowing the party from within,
building towards political independence and tearing apart the Democratic Party.
The DSA is not here to strengthen the Democratic Party. It is here to consume it.
We're not here to make the Democrats a little bit better. We're here to actually enact socialism. And socialism is not just better capitalism. It's overthrowing the entire capitalist state.
It's our duty, DSA, to cultivate this power.
The cuckoo is in the nest, and New York City is poised to elect not a Democrat, but Zohran Mamdani, an extremist within the DSA.
We understand that winning an election is not an end. It is a means to an end.
The most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
We need a movement that can drive a stake through the heart of the empire.
We need to orient ourselves towards insurrection.
Thank you, Canary Mission, for the single best ad of the entire election cycle. So let me just say, true and based! Highlight reel! Highlight reel! DSA recruiting video! So get out there if you are in New York City and get into the motherfucking elections, baby. How old is Atrioc? Because he does not look Gen Z. I was going to say, why the fuck does Atrioc's title Gen Z feel screwed? Bro, you are a millennial. You're practically a zillennial. Why the fuck are you saying Gen Z feels screwed? Why don't you just say young people? And we're using young in the political sense. He's a millennial with a boomer brain. It's just Pete Buttigieg energy, which is, he is a social climbing person who's trying, what is the Tectone topic already covered? No, but I will. But I will give you a preview. Tectone is fucked. Tectone is currently facing serious legal trouble, and he may lose his right to own a gun very soon. Okay, so that was incredibly based. The way that Hutch talks about Hassan is so funny. God. Okay. Miss Rachel just did an ad for Zohran. Fast and free buses, childcare for all, freeze the rent. I mean, like, come on. We need to take back grindset ideology from neolibs. Arguably, Lenin was the first practitioner of grindset communism, pushed for communist revolution in a feudalist society. Communists would enter the dojo of grindset, learn computer science, math, and Chinese. We definitely need to learn Chinese. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. All right. In celebration of Zohran's impending victory, we will have a little bit of a piece of candy by watching Gatsu's new video on New York. This will be our Gen Z, our actual Gen Z content moment. Our Gen Z content moment.
New York ruined me. I can never think any place in the world is expensive now. A lot of New Yorkers are rude, criminals, or on drugs, but usually a combination of all of those. And every building in the financial district is responsible for countries getting cooed because the cokeheads on Wall Street and in Washington wanted their resources.
Did I just catch you wanting to be shit?
But the skyline is so cool though. New York is genuinely a legendary city. It's where like every movie is filmed. Spider-Man is a New Yorker, and you can see him on the subway saving people's lives when you're in New York. And this city is very alive and also very hardworking. Americans in general work a lot, but in New York, when you look at the skyline at night, all the lights are still on because everyone is trying to pay their median rent of $4,950 in Manhattan. Hell man, even the mayor needed some money. That's why he allegedly took bribes, illegal donations, and free or heavily discounted flights and hotels from Turkish airlines, from Turkish officials for political favors, like opening up Turkey's consulate in New York early and that he would refrain from recognizing the Armenian genocide. Also, like how he played in a Turkish romantic comedy.
You guys are from Turkey. Brooklyn loves Turkey. Brooklyn is the Istanbul of America. We love your food, we love your music, but I don't understand Turkish. We can take a selfie though.
Bro, at least take a bribe from Qatar, bro. What do you mean you're being bribed by Turkey, bro? Who has ever been bribed by Turkey? Also, Zoran would never. Walking through Manhattan, you will just see evil buildings. Anything on Wall Street or Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan house, but also it undeniably looks so cool.
Within the first 5 minutes of me being in America, I experienced both sides of American culture. First off, this extremely friendly old guy came up and asked me for a cigarette, and I gave him some tobacco. When I told him it had come all the way from England, his face lit up with joy and he said, "Damn, this might be the oldest, most ancient cigarette ever." I think he genuinely thought England is like actually still in the 1600s or something, but he thanked me profusely, wished me and Gatsu well, and went on his way. 10 out of 10, first human interaction in America, right? So obviously next, it was time for us to face the Newark Airport Grim Reaper. This dude was dressed in 100% Young Thug's brand clothing, okay? And considering Young Thug's recent court proceedings and public appearances,
Free OG Diddy, man. Free OG. For real? OG nigga? Wait, really? Hopefully would. Alright, free Diddy. If he said it, I'm free Diddy too.
That's how I... Aiden Ross is the most Diddy-coded streamer. That is true. He is the most Diddy-coded streamer.
knew we were in trouble, right? He comes up to us and says, "Y'all waiting for an Uber? Y'all about to get an Uber, right? Yeah. Cancel it. You two are riding with me." I'm like, "Nah, bro. Our guy's gonna be here in a couple minutes. Thank you, though. Thank you. Don't be scared. Don't be scared." And he then shows us his phone screen. It's a photo of some lady, I assume his significant other, and he goes, "You can trust me. This is my everything." Okay, you want to know how many serial killers had wives? Like every single one of them, okay? If anything, having a wife you got to provide for in the current American...
Honestly, a wife is just motivation. She gets you out of the house to keep killing.
Economy makes it way more likely that you're gonna harvest and traffic my organs, okay? Anyway, he kind of rushed off after we showed no interest. I assume he had some important business to attend to, specifically the NBA YoungBoy concert. That's right, me and Gatsu landed into New Jersey the same day NBA YoungBoy had a show in New Jersey, and I'm telling you guys, this Georgian fucking idiot wanted to attend it. I'm like, bro, you've been watching too many Sopranos highlights on Instagram or something. Our European asses are not making it 3 seconds in downtown Newark, let alone inside the NBA YoungBoy concert, bro.
The food in America is absolutely wild. I know most of my audience is American, so just hear me out. Just listen to me, guys. I'm begging you guys to go to Europe and eat the food there and tell me how you feel afterwards. I genuinely want to know. I thought American food was supposed to be like very bad, like unhealthy, but it tastes amazing, right? But no, it's just unhealthy and it tastes bad. Genuinely, me and Geopol's bodies had so much trouble adjusting to the food. I really get why Americans have the meme of, oh, if an European tried this, they would die immediately. Because we low-key did. And we weren't like eating crumble cookies or anything. So bravo to your stomachs, man. It's a...
Honestly, I think that America is really, how do I put it? It's like walking on a slack line with no net, right? Like, and if you're used to it, it's fine. But occasionally you stumble and then but if you've never walked a slack line, America is not the place to try to learn, okay? Because you will fall. And America has the best food in the world. I will put my marker down on this. At the top of America's food is the best in the world. But the bottom is you literally die. The bottom is you literally die. So if you are not navigating it correctly, hey chat, it is Dave from Jamaica. Dave, we're gonna have to go off on a tangent. Dave, are you okay? How's the hurricane? I didn't see you chatting before. How is Jamaica doing? Give us the on the ground report from Jamaica. He says, "Hi, I am okay. We all are hoping for you. I'm glad the satellite internet is still working. Everybody has you in our hearts." Where the fuck is my Gatsu video? Okay, there it is. Also, they should have eaten crumble cookies. By the way, to back this up, chat, this is a very funny story. VN says, "I've lived here for 8 years and I'm barely able to handle it." So when Vio came to America, she actually had she got jaundice from the food. Literally. Ask Vio about it. is that when she came to America, she had kidney problems from the food. I'm not even kidding. So ask Vio about it and she'll be like, yes, that is true.
As the military, I tried a lot of different.
And Vio really likes, cold cuts because they eat a lot of cold cuts in Austria. But she refuses to get cold cuts in America. She says they're terrible.
Restaurants and even fast food.
Welcome to Popeyes here. Give me 1 sec. Damn, that's it. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. You need to take your ass home. Yeah, tell him. For real. Pull up to the window. Hey, pull up to the window then.
But the only food that did not make me feel bad was Vietnamese food.
Vietnam, undefeated.
I can't believe they smoked y'all in war and in cuisine. How did this happen? Plus, I had just come back from Armenia to Georgia for a day before going to New York, and food in the Caucasus is so good, man. And then going there, every food was a prison meal.
The rats. The fucking rats. Look, man, I thought I knew about rats already. I thought London, Birmingham, Manchester. I even got jumped on by a rat one time in Reading, last year. I've seen it all when it comes to these creatures. How much worse could it get? How bad could New York be, man? Well, I simply didn't account for what can happen to rats when they eat New York trash. Because yeah, by the way, they don't have bins in New York. They simply stack bin bags on the side of the street. All I'm saying, yeah, if a video surfaced online of this happening in India, Americans would be losing their shit, saying, oh, these Indians are so uncivilized and dirty. Well, I got news for you New Yorkers, okay? Scientifically speaking, yeah, if you simply leave black bin bags of trash out in the street to fucking bake and swelter away in the midday New York heat, you're essentially providing steroids for these damn rats to consume. American food is so full of alien chemicals that I had a tummy ache the entire time we were there. Now just think about what the radiated scientific anomalies produced by 3-day-old New York food that's been cooking in a bin bag in the heat does to the rats eating this shit. Oh my god, man, I saw shit I didn't even think was possible for this species of animal. The kind of
I wish Americans would take this in and accept that our country is fucked and be like, hey, maybe we should clean it up. Maybe we should stop giving tax cuts to Asmongold. He doesn't even spend the money. I think we should tax Asmongold at 99%. I think we should tax Asmongold at 99%. That 1% should be enough for him to order. What the fuck does he even order with his money? Taco Bell? We should just take Asmongold's money, all of it, and we should clean up our streets.
Mutations these rats were walking around with, the kind of confidence they were walking around with as well. I think I genuinely saw a rat with wings. I'm not even joking, the Cloudy and a Chance of Meatball creatures. Some other food related New York lore. I chipped my fucking tooth on some bread out here. Yeah, not only did America take thousands of my hard-earned dollars, it also took irreplaceable bits of my body, like my tooth.
What I realized about New York is that this shit is expensive, bruh. I've been to many places, people said fucking...
My guess is that they did not plan out their cuisine because New York food is insanely good. If you actually look for good places. Now, they're from the Caucasus. They probably couldn't even afford, they probably couldn't handle trying to pay for good New York food. They were probably just walking into random fucking, criminal fronts and buying food that's been sitting there for 8 weeks. They needed a New Yorker to give them a guide. Because, holy fuck.
Hong Kong was expensive. I thought Vienna was expensive, but New York will ruin you. Any place you go to after New York, you will think is cheap. The thing that surprised me the most about going to the US, but especially New York first, is the tipping culture. Because you go to a bar and it's $10 for the bartender to grab the bottle of beer from the back and give it to you and open it up for you. And then on top of that, you gotta give him a tip or he will spit in your drink and give you the New Yorker $3,000 rent for a closet with an outside bathroom look. The thing is, bro, if you're charging 10 bottles for a bottle of fucking Modelo, and then on top of that, you want a tip, at this point, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put my balls on the bar, and then you can just grab a hammer right where you grab the beer from, and then just fucking You might as well do that.
Also, I think my legs took lifelong damage from walking around on these goddamn concrete slabs you guys call a sidewalk. Let me just explain to you Americans what normal humans do when we build paths for walking on, okay? We do this pretty much everywhere in the world, right? For centuries we've been doing this. What you do is when you make a tile or a slab, yeah, you want to make the texture very bumpy and irregular. That's why you'll see pavement tiles with rocks like set in them and stuff, or little bumps and stuff on the top of the pavement. This means that when you step on that surface with a shoe, it's not bone to floor impact. Your shoe kind of squishes into the little gaps on the surface of the tiles. The rough texture absorbs like loads of the impact, and your shoe like slowly compresses.
All I'm hearing is internet guys who spent too much time inside, had to walk around, and now their little legs are hurting. You're supposed to be European. You're supposed to be normal. What happened?
Instead of slapping the floor, and your feet, legs, and butt take us just these evil metal stairways. Yo, my lower half was shaking and trembling the entire New York trip. I promise it wasn't from all the spooky ass Halloween decorations these goddamn Americans had set up in their gardens like over a month before Halloween. I don't want to be like, bar humbug.
You were spot on about him. There I was, filling up the motor. I turn around, the little git had done a runner.
God damn, bro. Over a month before Halloween, there's already like 3-meter tall skeletons lining the roads. The consumerism is just too hard for you guys to resist, isn't it? You know what else spooked me out? How they can't pour beer in this damn country. However, you're still expected to tip the bartender like over 20%.
Okay.
I started off...
You're ordering bottled import beer at a New York bar. You deserve to have your wallet taken from you. If you're ordering beer, bottled imported beer, just give me your wallet. I'll spend your money better. Okay? Like, Jesus.
The trip drinking these stale pints of piss they call draft beer. So I clocked on to how they can't pour beer in bars at all. Pretty quickly, me and Gigi started ordering bottles of beer instead, at which point tipping feels like the most insane investment you've ever made. Paying an extra quarter
Europeans complaining about tipping.
Of the original payment.
The least likable thing you could do.
Just for the manual labor of opening a bottle. How about bars just pay their staff?
Hey, motherfucker! The point of the bar is that they're there and they're a human being talking to you, you friendless... Okay, I'm having a Euro moment. You're going to... They are people who agree to stand somewhere and be talked at by assholes. That's what they're getting paid for. Not just popping over the beer for you. It's that they're standing there and you're like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, haha, good point, sir. That guy deserves a lot of money. He's listening to a European complain that the concrete's too flat. Give that man your wallet right now.
A livable wage so I don't have to foot the bill, and also I don't want to pay for some bartender to be nice to me, man. That's like some Blade Runner dystopian shit. Me and Gatsu were actually talking to this one dude outside a bar in Brooklyn, and he told us the reason he specifically goes to that bar is because the female bartender is beautiful and lovely and nice. He also said his go-to move.
This is like guys who never leave their house finding out that people like attractive people. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Now, if you're creepy toward the bartender, that's fucking weird. Europeans are incredible.
When he's there is to slap $20 bills on the bar as tips whilst he drinks. What even is
actually based
this, bro? A strip club? What on earth are we?
He's just tipping her generously. Good. What's wrong with that? Why are you shaming this guy? What the fuck? I thought you were going to say he did something creepy, but he's just giving his money to a bartender he likes. What's wrong with that? Who gives a fuck? Good for her.
Doing here, man. I'm actually just going to go and drink.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say if you're a European and you find yourself nodding along to this, do not visit America. Do not visit America. If you're a European and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that guy was being nice to the bartender and tipping her a lot of money. Don't come to America. Bro, no one's visiting anyway. Good. You're making me fucking right wing. The one thing you're supposed to do is show solidarity for your fellow worker. It's not their fault they're paid shit. It's our governmental system set up to fuck over the working person. Get your shit together, you fucking ingrates.
Beer in my hotel now because I don't want anyone to think I'm a creep if this is like what the common practice is out here.
It's not. Actually, they think it's the opposite. If you tip your bartender a lot, they're like, thank God I got out of bed in the morning. I have a patron that's actually making it worth my while. Thank you for being nice. It's totally creepy if you try to get something like interpersonal from it outside of a thanks or appreciation. Is it creepy to have to tip a female bartender well because you think she's pretty and nice? No, it's not. What the fuck is wrong with these people? It's not creepy at all to tip someone because you think they're nice. Like, what is wrong with you people? No, it isn't. This is the antisocial nature of Twitch chat. Legitimately antisocial. It's not objectification to say someone is nice. That is their personality trait. You are tipping them because of their personality trait and the way that they are acting in an interpersonal way. You're not turning them into an object. Holy fuck, that's crazy. To be fair, you said pretty and nice. That's just like a compliment. That's just a compliment. He didn't say, oh, she's so hot, I want to fuck her. That would be fucking creepy. Saying someone is pretty or handsome is just a normal level compliment. Holy shit. Gen Z is crazy. Gen Z go outside, impossible. Gen Z doesn't go to bars. Yeah. Oof. I mean, listen, if I'm talking to a stranger and I'm like, yeah, the bartender there is really pretty. That's kind of like a come again. That's like, you know, it's like a yellow flag. You're like, it's not bad, but you're like, Gen Z has a problem where somebody being slightly sussy equals they're actually the worst thing ever. They do these like extremely flattening conclusions. Like everyone's trying to rush and make them cringe or rush and make them like creepy and rush. And it's like, bro, calm down. People are allowed to make slight social faux pas. It's not the end of the fucking world, okay? The hyperbolic reactions, yeah. That's so social media coded. And that's coming from me, king of hyperbolic overreactions.
Also, New Yorkers are rude as shit. You hold the door for people and they don't say thank you. What the fuck is this? Man, I'll just go fuck myself down. And New York Metro is the worst.
Oh, I actually hate that. If I hold the door for you and you don't say thank you, I'm actually mad. You've actually rage baited me. He's right about this. He's right about this. If I hold the door and you don't say thanks or acknowledge, you've actually rage baited me. He's right. He's right about this one.
Metro in the world. When you ride the New York train for a long enough time, you understand why New Yorkers are so angry all the time. It is the slowest fucking metro I have ever stepped my broke Eastern European communist ass in. And there are delays every day on these trains where not only are they slow, but they stop for like 10 minutes at a time, giving you enough time to think what the fuck you are doing in this city. Just today, when me and Leo were riding, imagine showing a New Yorker a Chinese metro. They would lose their minds. Imagine showing them this shit, bro. This is why propaganda works so well on Americans, where it's like, oh, metro in New York and metro in Moscow, because it's genuinely so bad. I just gotta say, man, China winning. I feel like if this happened in China, the Chinese police would have put that tweaker in Squid Game, and Chinese trains would never have this fucking happen in the first place. What do you mean you're skipping stops, bro? This has never happened to me in any country ever, bro. Imagine coming home late from work and then the conductor comes on talking about we're dropping you 5 stops from your home. I know Asian trains are like an outlier for being good, but bro, even fucking my broke-ass Eastern European country's metro is like 5 billion times better than the New York metro. Yes, including the stop that is in my hood that looks like a fucking coal mine. No wonder public transport gets such a bad rep in America, because honestly, it's pretty bad. Every line gets delayed, they start skipping stops and shit. If you show the New Yorker a metro in Chongqing, the city of New York would write in Xi Jinping during the next election. Also, New York has the worst hoods.
That's my entire political effort right there. Now you've got Gatsu is exposing me. That's my entire plan. Yeah, we saw this the other day, be generic. China, yeah, the Chinese ambassador to America posted this video congratulating sanitation workers. And look how well it did. Hopefully they notice this. This is the advantage that commies have over every other form of government, is exalting the worker is a very good idea. Where did it fucking go?
The sketchiest places I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of shit. I'm literally from the hood in Eastern Europe, and Geopol is from Birmingham in the UK. But these American hoods are something else, man.
Whoa, they went to the hood? Listen, the hood isn't that dangerous. That being said, if you're hearing it from me, don't go there. You're not ready. Okay? Like, I can handle it. You can. If you're hearing it from me, Mike was white, then you're not ready. Okay? The hood is fine. It's very over-exaggerated. That being said, you're hearing it from me, don't go.
Not want to go to these places.
Some of Philly is pretty dicey. Oh, yeah. I mean, some, like, the thing about some neighborhoods is they're neighborhoods. They know who lives there. And if you're just wandering in there, you're not, they know you're not from there. Like, it is what it is. Why are you going to some really poor residential area that you're not from? You're a stranger. The people are going to check you.
Your grandma lived there and she baked you cookies and she invites you. Grandma, I'm not fucking coming to Queens. I also thought Coney Island was decently hood, but at least they had the sea, and Coney Island is just the Soviet Union. There's so many Georgians, Russians, and Ukrainians living there. For example, I went to this one Georgian restaurant there, and outside there were like 50 Georgians. Right next to it was a laundromat with a Georgian and Ukrainian flag hanging. And right the opposite street was something like Vladimir's barbershop. And on the street, you just heard Georgian and Russian. But just before I left the city, New York had to take...
People going to New York for the first time and realizing that it's literally an amalgam of the entire world. Yes, that's why it's the greatest city on the planet. We know. That is America's greatest strength. Unfortunately, we have fascists which are destroying our the best part of our country by going after that strength. But okay.
Take one more thing from me and hit me with a $112 ride to the airport. Taxi, bro. And a lot of people had the question of how did your Eastern European communist ass even get into America? Well, there was a big annoying visa process and they approved me and gave me a 10-year tourist visa. And because my passport was Georgian, I got checked literally every single point of process going to fucking America. I had a layover in Vienna, and on the way to America, they were asking me in Austria, oh, where are you going to stay? Show me your return ticket. Do you have any friends or relatives in America? Are you planning to work in America? Bitch, you're fucking Austrian. Why the fuck do you care? You fuck.
I do not take connecting flights out of Austria. That's crazy. That's like Papers, Please final level. What the fuck?
Fucking Hitler? Are you still mad a Georgian beat your fucking idol? We're in Vienna, bruh. I have a 10-year visa. I have a better access for fucking America than any European does. And then in the US border, the guy asked me what I did for work, and I said I had a YouTube channel. And then he asked me for the name, and I said Gatsu. And then he started typing, looking my channel up on YouTube. At this point, I was like, bro, he's gonna see my Trump videos and they're gonna send me off to fucking El Salvador. And then he said, you have a picture of that guy on your channel, Benjamin. I'm like, oh my god, he's fucking talking about BB. I'm fucked. I'm actually getting my ass sent straight to El Salvador. And he was like, oh, like the actor Benjamin on your profile picture. Oh, Cumberbatch? Oh yeah, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. Welcome to the United States. And then I was let in. And then I went through security, where upon seeing the Georgian flag on my backpack, the US border agent immediately went, the US Borders and Customs agent was nice enough to offer...
Oh no, he got the probes treatment.
for me a private check instead of going through the usual security means. Honestly though, he was a pretty chill dude and he was kind, nothing really bad. And during the search, he was even like, oh, let me impress this Georgian. And he told me something in Russian and I'm like, I don't speak Russian. And he was like, oh, okay. And then let me go after checking everything in my bag. But honestly, my British friend Geopol did not have a much different experience from me. But just being treated like you're doing something bad at the border when you're literally just a tourist, want to spend a lot of money actually because it's fucking New York, just feels bad and makes me not really want to go there again. And even though my passport being weak played a role in this sort of treatment, it didn't really play a big role to be honest. Like it was not that important since my British friend got basically the same treatment. So I think it's just America at this point. And even the Norwegian dude getting deported for having a JD Vance meme on his phone.
Newark Airport was all I needed to see, bro. By the way, if there's a tiny chance someone noticed my most recent videos all get switched to private for about an hour on the 29th of September, it's because I was going through Newark Airport Border Force, okay? They grilled me like a New York glizzy. I told the Border Force agent I was coming to the great city of New York to see the rappers Blade, Black Cray, and Net Spend perform. And this border agent genuinely spent a few minutes going through Blade's most popular music videos, and I think I converted him. He was genuinely telling me, yo, I gotta check this out, man. This sounds good.
The only question I have is how the fuck are they supposed to host the World Cup next year with this treatment of people at the border? Genuinely, it is the worst fucking treatment I've ever had at a border. Getting everything except my booty.
Oh my god, that was such a good meme. They just had the there's a in The Sopranos, which is about the New Jersey Italian mafia. They had like they made some deals with Sicilian mafia where they were gonna like export stolen cars to the Sicilian mafia, and they would sell the cars in, you know, Europe and Africa. And so they had a exchange where they sent one of their guys, the Sicilian mafia, came to America and became one of the soldiers for Tony Soprano. And him arriving in New Jersey is what they were showing. And him just like seeing New Jersey for the first time and just being like, or no, wait, I think that was actually after he returned after going home for a vacation or something. That was such a good interstitial meme. Hold on.
Perform. And this border agent genuinely spent a few minutes going through Blade's most popular music videos, and I think I converted him. He was genuinely telling me, yo, I gotta check this out, man. This sounds good.
The only question I have is how the fuck are they supposed to host the World Cup next year with this treatment of people at the border? Genuinely, it is the worst fucking treatment I've ever had at a border. Getting everything except my booty checked. For example,
this is the scene. Okay, yeah. Oof.
When I go to Europe, they don't even check fucking anything, especially in Greece. I don't even have to bring my passport. I can just put my Orthodox cross down at the border and they'll let me in with open arms and gyros. But my advice to you guys is just to not get defensive really and be kind to the agents as well. Because one, they can just fuck your shit up. And two, you being defensive will not help anything at all. And also in the airport, they had, I'm pretty sure this Christy Noem had her ad about self-deporting people, and there were also ads about go and deport yourself in the airport. And like this administration will swear they're not fascist, but what is this place? Home.
I'll see you in Valhalla. Anyway, yeah, apart from all that, I did seriously enjoy New York. It was mind-blowing for me to see all the places I recognize so crystal clear from watching films, consuming
It sucks that everybody knows what Yakub is now. You guys didn't earn that shit. You did not earn it. I feel bad that I taught you what it is, and other people did as well. I'm bummed. You guys do not deserve to know who Yakub is. You're the true source of white people.
Media, etc. I saw the hospital transport bus from Good Time. I saw the subway train from the 8-Ball Jacket slap video. I saw Coney Island from the Side Talk videos. I saw the bodegas from the Okiway videos. I saw Washington Square Park from Impractical Jokers. I ate at White Castle from Harold and Kumar. What more could I ask for?
Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and goodbye. Now that my ass is back in Georgia, expect more videos.
Honestly, Gatsu, you just proved to me that Georgians are European. After all, that's what you proved to me. If you liked a little bit of Gen Z brain rot, this is Gatsu's channel. Make sure you go and like the video, subscribe, etc. I'm a Gatsu enjoyer. It's good to have good vibes again, huh, chat? By the way, happy 9/11. Is Blue Anon cooking with this one? Looks like Elon Musk's brain chip company Neuralink might be using immigrants detained by ICE as human test subjects against their will. Huh?
Propaganda coming from the White.
Okay, listen. I would not be surprised, but some redheaded vote blue hashtag I am the resistance no kings lady posting random conspiracy theory drivel doesn't quite meet my editorial standards. Okay, like not quite my editorial standard. You know, the evidence there is a little bit weak. Okay, can we look at the New York City mayor's race? Is it over? New York City mayor's race polling. All right, I just want to look at this, give you my honest to God Mike from PA analysis, tell you if it's time to panic, and then tell you if Harry Enton is as incompetent as he was in 2024.
So early voting is in full swing as New York City is set to elect its next mayor, and new data shows a record number of people, more than 200,000, casting their ballots so far.
Democrat Zoran Mamdani still seen as the front runner despite lukewarm support from some in his own party. We have CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton with us now. All right, Harry, put the turnout into context for us.
By the way, the lukewarm support is just the donor class and centrist Democrats who are radical centrists.
Yeah, I'll note a historic little anecdote, which was my mother voted early. If my mother's voting early, you can vote early too here in New York City. But let's take a look here at the numbers, what we're looking at so far. You know, in 2025, we're looking at, look at this, already north of 220,000. The entire 2021 campaign only had 170,000 people turn out early, and we're only 3 days into this thing. I think we might be looking at the highest turnout in the New York City mayoral election since at least 2001, which of course was a close affair between Mark Green, the Democrat, and the Republican Mike Bloomberg. And you might have to go all the way back to 1993, when of course David Dinkins, the incumbent mayor, was defeated by Rudy Giuliani, the Republican.
Harry, who do you imagine is benefiting from this high early turnout?
Oh, Boris, that is the question, isn't it? And if I was a magical person, I could tell you for sure which candidate it was. Person. I am a magical person, but not in that way. I'm a magical person in the way that I'm able to look at the camera, and a magical person insofar as my personality is absolutely fantastic. But actually telling you who it's necessarily benefiting, I'm not quite sure I can do that for you. I think there's good signs for both the candidates. Why don't we start off with a good sign for Mamdani? All right, New York City general election early voter turnout. The top increase in the boroughs versus 2021 is Brooklyn. That is where we expect and where the polling really does suggest that Mamdani is going to do quite well. He did quite well during the primary there. That is also obviously where there are a lot of folks who might agree with Mamdani's further left politics than Andrew Cuomo might necessarily have. So Brooklyn being high in the turnout, that's good for Zoran Mamdani. Now, if you're looking for a good sign for Andrew Cuomo, why don't you look at the turnout by age group? All right, this is 2025 New York City, and the largest early voting age group. In the primary, it was younger voters, those aged 30 to 34. That was the top group in terms of turnout in the early vote. Now look at this side of the screen. Look at what we have here in the general election so far. It's actually early voters who are making up the larger share of the early vote so far. 65 to 69 is the largest group. That, of course, is a group that Andrew Cuomo is expected to do very well amongst. He's expected to do poor among younger voters. So the fact that older voters are turning out to vote so far, that is a good sign for Andrew Cuomo. I won't tell you, though, which age bracket my mother belongs to, because I'm very young. She could be very young, too.
Yeah, very young. Magically.
Yes. One of the things I would say is, like, whenever you watch mainstream coverage of polls, do you notice how there is literally nothing to go off of? It is just like big number on screen. There's no percentages. There's no comparisons. There's no, like, it's just like the largest early voting group is the old. Okay. What is that ratio compared to previous elections? What is, like, it is just a tidy 5-year age block. That's not greater than 65. That's 65 to 69. It's like, can you give me something a little bit more useful than that?
Young, even. Right? So, see what I did there? Okay, Mamdani, though, he's...
A large percentage of the population can't actually comprehend numbers, so what's the point of putting charts up? I can! That's why I want the charts, so I can comprehend them. And then I can translate to all of you. Wouldn't it be nice?
Still the favorite?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you can see it in the prediction markets right here at this particular point. What do we see? The top chances to win New York City mayor, according to the Kalshi prediction market odds. Look, Mamdani has an 86% chance. Andrew Cuomo comes in at 14%. I will say Cuomo's up a little bit from where he was yesterday, but the bottom line at this particular point is Zohran Mamdani is driving the subway car. He's driving the bus. He's not driving the car because, of course, most people in New York City actually commute via mass transit or by walking. They don't drive their cars. So at this particular point, Mamdani is the favorite. Andrew Cuomo's got a shot, perhaps a little bit up from where he was just a few days ago. But at this point, Zohran Mamdani is in the driver's seat, guys.
A magical and...
Why are they using betting markets? Because they're neoliberal ideologues. It doesn't matter how much the betting odds have been proven to be terrible. They're neoliberal ideologues, so they want markets in everything. Like, that is the value of what fundamentally neoliberalism is, the desire to uphold markets in all human interactions. If they can commodify it, they will. Their fantasy is to have children up for sale. Like, literally, if a neoliberal could have it, they'd be like, you know, adoptable 5-year-olds are trending. They've just increased in price for a healthy 5-year-old. If the average price of a healthy 5-year-old has increased to $35,000, you know, like, that is what they want. That's their world. That is their desire. So the fact that the prediction markets have absolutely no fucking predictive ability is immaterial. They're still going to throw it up there because it's another thing to talk about. That's not talking about policies or ideas or explaining anything.
Humble, we should add.
So humble.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
From the Magic Ball Force.
I just want to thank...
Milei in Argentina said you should be able to sell your kids and organs. With the midterm win he got, now that's on the table. Yeah, I know.
Thank you all for this beautiful...
Like, that is, I mean, this is one of the most important libertarian think tanks, the Mises Institute, very influential in the Republican Party. An article written in 2007, if a parent may own his child within the framework of non-aggression and runaway freedom, then he may also transfer that ownership to someone else. He may give the child out for adoption, or he may sell the rights to the child in a voluntary contract. In short, we must face the fact that the purely free society will have a flourishing free market in children. That, ladies and gentlemen, if somebody says they're a neoliberal, what they mean is they want to buy the rights to someone else's child. Notice the rights, not the obligations, whatever the fuck that means. Libertarianism is just pedophilia with extra steps. Correct.
Segment. It's going to stay with me for a long time, as well as our viewers.
Pathetic. Dipshit. All right, chat. We have an article from The Atlantic that made me smile, so I'm going to read it to you. Mike, is this real? Vance mentioned Hassan.
Like you could see this. Like, he sits on command, he stays on command. He has this command place, which is basically if I snap my finger and point, he will run to that place and lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No, not
Hassan.
Not like Hassan Piker. No.
I told you guys. They know who we are. Like, you think, like, when I say the fascists are targeting Hassan, and to a much lesser extent me, there are people who are irrelevant on this platform who just ignore it and they think it's not real. No, it is fucking real. I'm like, we're being watched. Like, do you understand this? You understand? Assad, they are targeting Hassan. It's fucking crazy. Like, this tweet has 1 like. It's a video from the New York Post, bro.
No electrocution of dogs here.
How disgusting is that? What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not, that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause...
Is this AI? Are you guys saying it's AI? I don't think this is AI. Is this like, it has to be AI. I'm now starting to doubt myself. It's gotta be, it has to be AI. It has to be.
Welcome back to Podforce One. I'm Miranda Devine, and today we are with Vice President J.D. Vance in his home in Washington at the Naval Observatory. Thank you, Vice President Vance, for joining Podforce One.
Of course. Thanks for being here.
And especially thank you for inviting us into your home at the Naval Observatory, which...
If I snap my finger and point, he will run to that place and lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No. Not like Hassan Piker. No. No electrocution of dogs.
By the way, that's just slander. They've just spread this blatant slander. Just a blatant slander. They got it in the heads of the fucking president. And by the way, online doesn't matter? Hey guys, online spaces don't matter. Oh my God. Vice President JD Vance promotes Collargate against Hassan. I can't believe this is fucking reality. I was about to talk about Tectone, and to divert me from talking about Tectone, oh, come the fuck on. Come on. What do you even say? What do you even say? What do you even say? I don't know what even... I'm still processing. This can't be real. This can't be real. This is my real life.
How disgusting is that? What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not, that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering to an innocent animal, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about
your fucking Homeland Security Secretary shot a puppy to death with her gun in a ditch. What are you talking about? And the Collargate is fake. It's fucking fake. You just cut off food aid to 50 million Americans. I haven't even gotten to the food stamps yet. I'm like, we are, the power that we wield is incredible. I am so powerful. I thought that I was just a silly little Twitch streamer who was helping with like different little candidates and doing little things. And the Vice President of the United States of America is paying attention to DGG slander. They fucking made it up. They are so scared shitless of Zohran Mamdani and AOC. Mediaite has bloodthirst for Assad. They post every controversy for engagement. Dan Abrams runs the site and is an avowed Zionist. Yeah, I know. The Democratic Party establishment despises us, which is why AI Atrioc got a private, got to go into the meeting with Gavin Newsom while they turned their backs on me and Assad. I mean, what can it even say? Because they despise the left. They're so scared we're going to tax the rich. You really, really need to reevaluate your politics because there is a uniparty. It is not hypothetical anymore. Holy shit.
Suffering in people as well.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person. So it's one of the ways, we really sort of test people is if Atlas responds well to them, if they like Atlas, we know they're good people. But you can tell if somebody's really mean to animals, it's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
Like every serial killer ever has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started. I remember like the Freddy Krueger movies were really big when I was, when I was a kid. Well, how did Freddy Krueger got to start? Like one of the things they show is young Freddy Krueger torturing animals.
Yeah.
I feel like
He's saying Assad is like a serial killer and Freddy Krueger? I'm yelling. I'm losing my voice. The Vice President of the United States of America is saying that Hassanabi Piker tortures animals like Freddy Krueger or a serial killer. When I first started in politics on this website, I came on this website to talk to people about public policy, about Viennese housing, about Medicare for all, about the Green New Deal, about high-speed rail. I wanted to talk to people about municipal broadband and high-quality public transit. I wanted to talk to people about cleaning up the environment and building labor unions and a free education, free childcare. And now my politics that I am now a part of, I don't know what to say. It's the dumbest piece of shit who said that Trump is Hitler, saying that my favorite friend streamer is torturing his dog based on a complete hallucination. It is a complete hallucination. There is no evidence whatsoever that it actually happened. Millions of people are about to lose their food assistance. Millions of people are about to lose subsidies for their health insurance. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people facing existential horror, and the vice president of the United States and our social media is about Hassan shocking his dog, which never happened. He could absolutely sue him for defamation. He absolutely could sue him for defamation. I just want you, I hope Ethan Klein is happy this fascist government is using his delusions to attack the left. Yes! Ethan Klein is on the same team as JD Vance. Destiny is on the same team as JD Vance. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Destiny is now dating an avowed Nazi who assaults homeless people on the street, who is screaming racial slurs at his Unfuck America tour. I don't even want to say the name, chat. The person is so fucking insane. The guy, now Nick Fuentes is going on Tucker Carlson. Thanks, that was Destiny too. Destiny rescued Nick Fuentes from obscurity because he was banned from every platform. And Destiny brought him on his show. And my mic decides to give out this moment, of course. How about now? Is it better? Are we okay? Are we back? Or are we still roboting?
Sort of instinctively understand.
And dogs know.
Yeah, absolutely they do. If you're not taking care of God's creatures, then you're certainly going to be, I think, a pretty bad person other ways too.
How did Atlas react to President Trump when he came for dinner a couple of weeks ago?
We kept Atlas upstairs.
Right.
So the thing about Atlas is...
What about now? Is it going? Is it better now? We live in a world where Nick Fuentes is on Tucker Carlson and Collargate is being promoted by JD Vance. I mean, why doesn't Destiny just declare himself a fucking Republican already? Why doesn't he just declare himself a fucking Republican already? Like, by the way, I predicted that. When Joe Biden got elected, I said by 2028, Destiny will be a Republican. I guarantee it. So will this make Hassan finally... I can't believe, like, I don't know what it is. I wish I was able to give Hassan advice on this point. Like, I would have gone after them years ago if I were him. If I had the resources that he has, I would have gone after them years ago. This also validates that the tens of thousands of hours spent at DGG psyops are worth it. I mean, it really is unbelievable.
He's a very sweet dog, but he's also very jumpy because he's still a puppy.
Yeah.
He's not even 2 years old. No, yeah, he turns 2 years old because he turned 1 on election day.
Right.
Yeah. Which again, people accused us of like, oh, you just got a dog that happened to have a first birthday on election day. But he'll turn 2 in November. And
in case you guys missed it, let's back it up. This is crazy.
The Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
Like every serial killer ever has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started. I remember like the Freddy Krueger movies were really big when I was a kid. Well, how did Freddy Krueger got to start? Like one of the things they show is young Freddy Krueger torturing animals.
Yeah.
I feel like we just sort of instinctively understand.
And dogs know.
Yeah, absolutely they do. If you're not taking care of God's creatures, then you're certainly going to be, I think,
By the way, did they not have what the fuck? They say Piker and it's not in the transcript. It's like it's edited out. What the fuck?
Yeah.
At least so far, it's not a biter.
I mean, the whole thing about Joe Biden, not to dwell on him, but, to choose a German Shepherd, you have to put a lot of effort into them. And they're very intelligent dogs. And he obviously hadn't done that. And you've been accused of having a rent-a-dog for the image. But I feel like that's what Joe Biden did because he didn't control those dogs.
No. And we were, the first 6 months or so really matter, right? And so we got Atlas. I mean, in hindsight, of course, I didn't know that our lives would change. We got Atlas in January of 2024. And so, of course, I got the nod in July of 2024. But really for those 6 months, I mean, I kind of obsessively trained him. Like you could see this, like he sits on command, he stays on command. He has this command place, which is basically if I snap my finger and point, he will run to that place and lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No. Not like Hassan Piker. No, no electrocution.
Can I look at the way it's captioned?
Command. He has this command place, which is basically if I snap my finger and point, he will run to that place and lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No. Not like Hassan Piker. No.
They both say Hassan very clearly. What? And these are the AI captions. Is YouTube like suppressing Hassan Piker?
Disgusting.
No electrocution of dogs here.
How disgusting is that? What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not.
By the way, chat, nobody cares about our little space on Twitch. Like, do you see how insane this is? The Vice President of the United States is spreading the Collargate scandal, and he's aware of it. How close is Hassan to being declared an enemy of the state? Like, I'm legitimately worried about it now. Like, I wasn't worried before, but I think that there is enough psychosexual energy with these dickless men, these incel dickless men. It's actually becoming dangerous. Do you think he actually believes it, or is he knowingly lying? He doesn't care. And all these vote blue no matter who people have successfully boosted a smear so it could be used against us by the fascists. I mean, this is Allied Trades, by the way. Thank you for the 6 months at tier 1. What do you even say? What do you even fucking say?
That they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering to an innocent animal, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about suffering in people as well.
Yeah.
And that's...
By the way, this is the people that have cut USAID AIDS medicine and food donations. This is the people that are allied with the UAE, which is doing a genocide in Sudan right now. These are the people who are allied with Israel, which is breaking the ceasefire as we speak with more strikes over last night. These are the people that are cutting food stamps to 50 million Americans starting this weekend. I've never met a Republican that hated shot callers. Republican Kristi Noem shot her puppy in a ditch. Like, what are we talking about? We are on a track for a Trump rant about Hassan. If Trump was on Twitter, he would have done Hassan rants by now. Like, if he was still on Twitter, he would be doing them every day. Did you notice how this conversation was so unnatural and rehearsed to shoe in Collargate? Yeah, it's insane. She shot a dog and a goat. Oh, okay. Remember when people used to say that Hassan was irrelevant? You remember how that used to be the old talking point? She said she called Cricket that used an electronic collar to try to control the dog. So she was literally using a shock collar. She was using a shock collar. Guardian reported that Noem wrote she shot dead Cricket, a 14-month-old dog she had intended to trade for hunting pheasant after the canine ruined a hunt, killed another family's chickens, and moved to bite her. Meaning he didn't actually bite her. She just shot a puppy. Noem said Cricket had an aggressive personality and was untrainable. Noem took Cricket on a pheasant hunt with older dogs to try to teach the canine, but Cricket went out of her mind with excitement, chasing all those birds and having the time of her life. Meaning being a normal puppy, an untrained puppy? Trump is going to do that. Austin is right. When Trump wins the presidency in 2024 or during the campaign, it's a guarantee, it's a lock that he's going to criticize Hassan for the mansion. It's a fucking lock. It's going to happen. It's going to be the biggest day. You're going to have this clip for when I predicted it. And when it happens, we're going to have a 500,000 viewer day for Hassan when Trump comes in and drops the bomb on him. It's when Trump wins the election in 2024, 4 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, they're calling it Mike was right. And if you haven't said it in somebody else's chat, you probably should, because all I know is other streamers, they love to hear it. They love to hear Mike was right. It's their favorite thing to hear. They're like, Mike was right about the election. I was wrong. We got to give him credit. You know, we got to give Mike credit. It's their favorite thing to hear. They're like, we called Mike hysterical and he just wants Kamala to lose. Open presents. Thank you for the gifty subs to 25. Silent Wason and Stalio, you better say thank you for the gifted subs. Imagine Trump coming into Twitch chat. We're not making it 4 years. We're not making it 4 years. We really aren't. Oh, this is Hassan saying Mike is good about elections. This is the Mike is good about elections clip.
It's phenomenal.
You know what's gonna happen, Chad?
Okay.
Hassan's gonna start like Hassan has always recommended me on his stream, and it's gonna end up me getting arrested because they're gonna be like, "Who is the supporters of Hassan Abi Piker? The Central Committee stream, the Mike from PA stream. They're a big supporter. Go after him. He's gonna get me arrested. I haven't been on the stream since November. Last November, this motherfucker is gonna get me arrested. I haven't been on the street for like 11 fucking months. He's gonna get me fucking arrested.
Older voters tended to vote in the first days of the early voting, while younger early voters tend to vote in the later part of the early voting periods. I trust Michael from Pennsylvania, especially when it comes to elections. He has a pretty good understanding of this stuff. I don't think it's copium.
Who is Mike? It's me, motherfucker. That's me. I'm Mike Rapia. That's my fucking Gnome de Bloom or Plume or whatever the fuck it is. It's my creator name. U.S. Customs is not letting Hassan back in when he returns from China. Oh, man. Oh, no. Oh, God. She said she called Cricket, then used an electronic collar to try to control the dog. So Christy Gnome literally, not only did she shoot Cricket, she also did the indefensible use of an e-collar. She electrically shocked Cricket. But now, apparently, like, and these motherfuckers are spreading. Do you understand? They don't believe in anything. They believe in nothing. They don't believe in anything. They believe in nothing. They just slander you. They just slander you because, God forbid, we have a conversation about healthcare policy. What are they going to say? Health insurance companies good? We need the health insurance company profits to go up? God forbid we have a conversation about war. They're going to say we need to fight a war in Venezuela. We need to support Israel's genocide. They can't talk shit about what the government is actually doing. On the way home, Cricket escaped Gnome's truck and killed the chickens of a local family, whom Gnome compensated. The dog then whipped around to bite me, the politician wrote. After that, Gnome said, I realized I had to put her down. She led Cricket to a gravel pit and shot and killed the dog. How about you take it to, I mean, even if you decided you needed to put a dog down, you're going to get a violent gunshot wound. Even if the dog had to be put down, you're going to kill it with a violent gunshot wound. That's fucking insane. Like, this is crazy. Gnome also killed a male goat that was nasty and mean, smelled disgusting, musky, and rancid, and loved to chase her children. That's called a male goat. That's what they're all like. I swear to God, these right-wingers who cosplay as farmers, it's a male goat. Musky, yeah, that's the testosterone. They're mean because they're protecting their herd. That's what every male goat is like. Like, what the fuck are you, Stu? And if you turn your back, they'll knock you down. It's called a fucking goat. You are a psycho. We are in some sort of weird hell.
It's been my experience. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be.
You made her in charge. Christy Gnome is in charge of Homeland Security of ICE, and she tortured a dog with an e-collar conferred from her and shot it dead because it chased birds as a puppy. Bro, you have put her in charge of our immigration policies.
Really terrible person. So it's one of the ways, we really sort of test people is
yes.
if Atlas responds well to them, if they like Atlas, we know they're good people. But you can tell if somebody's really mean to animals, it's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Yeah.
Like every serial killer ever has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started. I remember like the Freddy Krueger movies were really big when I was, when I was a kid. Well, how did Freddy Krueger got to start? Like one of the things they show is young Freddy Krueger torturing animals.
Yeah.
I feel like we just sort of instinctively understand.
And dogs know.
Yeah, absolutely they do. If you're not taking care of God's creatures, then you're certainly going to be, I think, a pretty bad person otherwise too.
How did Atlas react to President Trump when he came for dinner a couple of weeks ago?
We kept Atlas upstairs.
Right.
So the thing about Atlas is he's a very sweet dog, but he's also very jumpy because he's still a puppy.
Yeah.
He's not even 2 years old. No, yeah, he turns 2 years old because he turned one.
Okay, a dog should not be jumping on people at 2. You're just bad at training the dog, bro. Come on. And listen, we've all been there. You have to be really disciplined about how you react to jumping. You gotta, like, we've all had dogs that jump. It's not the end of the world. But to respond to that, like 2 years? Like, come on, that's an adult dog now.
Right.
Yeah. Which again, people accused us of like, oh, you just got a dog that happened to have a first birthday on election day. But he'll turn 2 in November, and he's very sweet. But if a new person comes and that person again is like in the circle, then he will jump all over that person.
Yeah.
I didn't want that to happen to the president in the first lady. So we kept him upstairs with the kids.
And now you just came back from a trip to Jerusalem, and you
did.
Andrew Cuomo and JD Vance jointly attacking Hassan Piker. Like I said this before, but the best way to understand politics today is to say that that I and Hassan are treated like we're fucking presidential candidates or senatorial candidates. I get more scrutiny than the average congressperson does, personally. Definitely by left-wingers. Like, if I made a mistake, it would go more viral than if a congressperson did it. Like, I'm not even kidding. Why? Who gives a fuck? Who knows? I don't know why either. It's actually insane. Like, I'm treated like I'm some sort of political powerhouse. If I yell weird, if I act cringe, people talk about it for 7 years later. Zoran is on the Majority Report right now.
To his site where you can volunteer. Do we have a...
Holy shit, this is cool. We love the Majority Report, don't we, folks? They're blowing up,
We
by
are
the
back.
way.
Sam Cedar on the Majority Report. Emma Vigeland out today, much to her chagrin. Joining me now, the Democratic nominee for New York City Mayor, Zoran Mamdani. We'll see, Mr. Nominee at this point. Thanks so much for joining us. You've got, I guess, just a couple of days, but voting is happening now. What are you... what is the number one thing that you are looking for to close this thing out at this point?
Sam, first I have to say it's great to be back. And the number one thing continues to be getting people out there, not just to vote, but frankly to canvass. The reason that I'm sitting in front of you as the Democratic nominee is because we had 52,000 volunteers in the primary who knocked on more than 1.5 million doors. And right now, today, what we have is an opportunity to build on that by delivering 92,000 volunteers out there across the 5 boroughs, knocking on doors. And that's really what we're looking to do in these final 6 days.
Do you have any sense from the early voting tallies? Like, are things going according to the plans or the estimates or what?
You know, I think these are going to be a lot of days of people trying to extrapolate every little thing they can from every figure, every demographic breakdown, age. I think the best way to deal with any anxiety is always to be canvassing. And that's what I've told myself. That's what I've told others across the city. And I think what we're seeing is frankly something to be celebrated, which is that more and more New Yorkers are going out to vote. We just have to make sure that we continue to make the case because, a friend of mine, Charlie, he was canvassing yesterday in Hell's Kitchen, and he shared afterwards that there was a guy he knocked on the door of who said, hasn't actually heard of me. He hadn't heard of this race. He's just starting to tune in. So as much as this has been the lifeblood of so many of us for so long, so much of the last year, there are many New Yorkers for whom these are the next 6 days where they will start to think about this race. And we really got to be there at their doorsteps and on their phones to let them know.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've learned in doing this for 20 years is that the people don't. There's a lot of people out there who just don't pay attention to these things in the way that others do. And if you're not in New York City, you can still phone bank for you too, because I have a sister in California who's been doing that.
Thank you very much to your sister. I hope that she's watching. We really appreciate you. And I do have to say to everybody that in just as much as the 1.6 million door knocks was critical in the primary, we had 2.1 million phone calls. And that was from New Yorkers, and that was also from Americans across the country. So please head on over to ZahranForNYC.com/GOTV. Sign up for a canvas shift if you're here in the 5 boroughs, or sign up for a phone banking shift, because these are the moments where we can actually make the difference. And funnily enough, there are a lot of voters for whom their persuasion rates are higher if you call them on the phone. Cat is getting
charged. Cat is being criminally charged. Oh boy. Oh boy.
At their door, so there's a real utility in you guys being a part of this.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't known that. All right, so I wanted to ask you this. Like, we
we'll talk
you
about
were
that
on
in a
this
second.
program almost 10 months, very close to the day, frankly. And I wonder, as you've gone through this process, have there been things that you have learned about the city that you think might inform your governance of it, or challenges that you think exist that you weren't aware of at that time?
What I've learned is that for many New Yorkers, their experience with politics has just been that of broken promises and an ever diminishing amount of faith in the ability of democracy to be able to deliver on the most basic things in people's day-to-day lives. And if you want to inspire the sense of possibility that you can take on the biggest crises in this city, some of the ways that you have to start to do that is by honoring the smallest issues that so many politicians have overlooked. And I was at a meeting in Rochdale Village in Southeast Queens, and I was speaking about our plan to make buses fast and free. And an older woman in the audience asked me, would I honor the promise that was made to build a speed bump on her block that was made years ago? And to me, those things they're intermingled. right? If you can't do this, if you can't take on the smallest issue, then how would you take on the biggest crisis? And that's why we have to show New Yorkers that we care about every single step of this. The other thing I've also learned, Sam, is that people have a lot of different words to describe the same thing. You know, I've spoken openly and proudly about the fact that I'm a democratic socialist, and I was at a gathering of faith leaders in Brooklyn, and there was a man who got up and said, you know, I didn't quite understand exactly what your politics were, but then I started to think about where I come from and the figures like Michael Manley and Walter Rodney. He was from the Caribbean diaspora, and how he was situating our politics in his own lexicon with his own historical figures. And that's also such a beautiful moment of opportunity to show everyone in the city that this message of dignity, it is spoken of with different words, it is spoken of by different names, but it is the same message. And we deserve a mayor who will speak that for all New York.
Lastly, because I know you got to go, you obviously have a lot of things to do. Where would you recommend Andrew Cuomo settles in Florida? Are there particular cities or towns? Do you think this is like a East Coast, West Coast type of situation for him?
Andrew Cuomo said he was just like, I don't know if much state.
Oh, your audio is breaking up there, but I guess I'm going to guess you were reminding people that Andrew Cuomo said that if you win, he was going to go to Florida. It doesn't feel like his attachment to New York City is that great, that he would head down there in that instance. But I guess he would save on his income tax.
All right, everyone, somebody came to the door.
Well, good luck, folks. It is time to get out there and...
what happened? Is there they lost? Oh, man, what happened? Is there something happening to the internet right now? Like, what the fuck? Chat, we should have municipal internet. We should get rid of the ISPs. Get rid of the private ISPs. They do nothing but steal money. They overcharge and they provide shit quality internet, and it's all patchwork and it sucks. We need a national municipal internet. There's a Microsoft outage going on currently. What a surprise. All right, apparently, chat, Kat is saying that she is being criminally charged by Trump.
My name is Kat Abou-Ghazaleh. I'm running for Congress in the 9th District of Illinois, and the Department of Justice is charging 6 people, including myself, with federal crimes for exercising our First Amendment rights near ICE's Broadview processor. This is a political prosecution and a gross attempt to silence dissent, a right protected under the First Amendment. This case is a major push by the Trump administration to criminalize protest and punish anyone who speaks out against them. That's why I'm going to fight these unjust charges, but I need your help to do it. As I and others have exercised our First Amendment rights, ICE has hit, dragged, thrown, shot with pepper balls, and tear gassed hundreds of protests, simply because we had the gall to say that masked men coming into our communities, abducting our neighbors, and terrorizing us cannot be our new normal. And because Chicago doesn't back down from bullies in masks who tear gas our neighborhoods, this administration has resorted to weaponizing the federal justice system to scare us into silence. But we're not going to be silent. The Trump administration wants you to be afraid of speaking out against it and its anti-democratic power grabs. And there are plenty of reasons to be afraid right now, but we have to overcome that fear. This case targets our rights to protest, speak freely, and associate with anyone who disagrees with the government.
Mike, do you think Zoran has to smile that hard to seem non-threatening, or does he normally cheese that hard? I think in general, he's just tried to be more pleasant. And I think he just has resting smile face. He strikes me as a smiler. Some people are kind of smiley. I'm a resting glare guy. I'm like, when I walk down the street, I walk down the street like this. So some people are like, you know, so with murder in my eyes, wait, was that murderful? Did I look murdery? Do I look murdery? Is my resting face murdery? Okay, never mind. I'm kidding.
And while we have seen the unhinged and unlawful tactics this administration has used against the American public, it's important to remember they're doing this because they are scared. They are wrong. And they know they are on the wrong side of history. We cannot diminish ourselves in the face of these attacks. That's why we have to unite and stand up for humanity, our rights, and everyone terrorized by Trump's lawless secret police. You'll be hearing regular updates directly from me about this case and how we can use our constitutional rights to resist authoritarian. And as scary as all of this is, I have spent my career fighting America's backslide into fascism. I'm not going to stop now, and I hope you won't.
I mean, this is absolutely fascist as fuck. And you know, I have had my issues with Kat, because I questioned like why she decided to run. Hutch pulling incredible streaming numbers today, 271 viewers on Twitch. People are just demanding it. They're demanding the centrism. They're demanding the washed up COD streamer centrism who hasn't read a fucking book. They're demanding it. They're demanding the overlooked sexual offender streams centrism. So did they cut rates today, chat? Traders expect a rate cut. Why? Inflation was up. So they just think it's going up. Bonds are going up as they expect a rate cut. GM lays off 1,700. Paramount lays off 1,000. Amazon just laid off like 35,000. The iPhone Air is not a bestseller. Nvidia hits 5 trillion market cap. That's like bigger than the banking sector. That's like 20% of the US economy. So now everybody who bought like index funds because they were like safe and diversified are now completely over invested into Nvidia. So now everybody is over invested in these bubble companies. But maybe they're not a bubble. Maybe it's really a new paradigm, chat. It's a new paradigm. It'll be like oil or something. There's the before oil period and the after oil period. That could be true, right? Oil rises 1% on large decline in U.S. stockpiles. Gold is back over 4,000 an ounce. I keep saying top of these dumbasses. I mean, hey, listen, I am not saying top. I'm saying bubble. And bubbles can grow for a long time. Like if you look at housing prices during bubble, if you look at the index of housing prices, right? When it took off in 2000, basically until the crash happened, till that crash happened. So you could have bought like, you know, you could have been here and been like, wow, housing prices are really overvalued. And then they went up another 60% from there. Ex-Twitch exec slams Amazon for cutting 14,000 job at AI shift. Robots don't give a fuck. That's why they want them. Twitch is facing another brutal round of layoffs as parent company Amazon basically what these disgusting slugs want, these fascist fucking executives want, is like 5 sociopaths are going to be able to kill people and rob people without any minions in between. Amazon confirmed plans to cut 14,000 corporate jobs, about 4% of its white-collar workforce, as part of a sweeping cost-cutting and restructuring effort. According to Reuters, that number could climb to 30,000 as layoffs begin on October 28th. The move is part of Amazon CEO's Andy Jassy's strategy to trim bureaucracy and lean heavily into AI and automation. Jassy previously said AI will play a central role in automated routine work, making some roles obsolete. These latest moves signal that Amazon is likely realizing that enough AI-driven productivity gains within corporate teams to support a substantial reduction in force. Among those confirming their departure was longtime employee Tarfu, an 11-year veteran who helped build Twitch's fraud program. I was the person who built the entire fraud program at Twitch. I was the one keeping bad actors off Twitch who steal and abuse revenue on the platform. I guess I did my job too well since they let me go, he wrote on social media. Influencing marketing manager J-Dub also revealed he'd been laid off after 9 years, calling it the best job I ever had. I mean, yeah, working at Twitch is in the influencer side. That's easy peasy. And then he immediately replied to Myron Gaines. Oh, I love how so many Twitch streamers have made bashing Twitch part of their fucking like brand now. What worthless fucking slugs. Cuomo blasts Mamdani for his rent stabilized unit, but he had one too. Former Governor Andrew Cuomo lived in what he once described as a dump, just one long hallway. As Mr. Cuomo, 67, began his career as a lawyer, he lived in a studio apartment in Sunnyside, Queens. The apartment building, which has 51 units, was built in 1960. That would have made it subject to rent stabilization under New York state law because it was constructed before 1974 and contained at least 6 units. At the time, they were all rent stabilized units. He made $23,500. That was in 1982. And he did have debt, I'm sure. What? Why is it breaking? Please enter a valid cost. Huh? Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, 81,000. 23,500 has the same buying power today as $81,000 a year. Okay, wow, what a poor guy. He only had $81,000 a year. Like, give me a fucking break. Get out of here. Microsoft's Azure is down, essentially Microsoft's version of AWS. Oh no. Everything is breaking, chat. Everything is fucking breaking. All right, chat. I I want to talk about Tectone for a second. And why he hasn't been streaming. Now, we're going to get more into this in the coming days and weeks. Evidence has started to be confirmed out on the internet, and serious legal trouble. He's currently being sued by one of the many victims he has for a protective order. And the reason why Tectone has stopped streaming is because every time he streamed, the protected order had already been granted. A temporary protective order had been granted already. And every time he streamed, he would violate that protective order. Now, there is currently a lawsuit happening seeking a permanent protective order. Now, if you want to know what a protective order is, I will be happy to explain it. Basically, it is an order from a judge basically directing an abuser to stop talking to, coming near, harassing, threatening, or bothering a victim of their abuse. And a protective order exists because a pattern of behavior has been established, so much so that the offender's rights can be permanently prescribed by an order of the court. If you have been a victim of family violence, sexual assault, stalking, human trafficking, or a home burglary where the burglar intended to commit a felony theft assault, you can apply for a court order to keep your offender away from you. This is called a protective order. A protective order orders an abuser not to hurt, threaten, or harass you or your children either directly or through another person, to stay away from you, your family, your work, home place, and children's daycare or school, not to carry a gun, even with a license, and trafficking or monitoring your personal property or car or a member of your family or household by using a tracking device or physically following you directly or through another person. So right now, Tectone has a protective order against him. One of his victims has successfully gotten a temporary protective order, and they are currently filing for a permanent protective order. And the reason why he stopped streaming is because he kept threatening and harassing her through his stream. And his attorney, I believe, I don't have direct evidence of this, but I believe his attorney directed him to stop streaming because he wasn't capable of not threatening the victim. He's not taking a break for mental or whatever the fuck he said. Tectone is doing this because he is facing legal jeopardy. And if the permanent protective order goes in place, he can never talk about them again, and he will not be permitted to own guns anymore. And if he does, he'll go to prison. Okay? This is the situation that is going on right now. And obviously, I've known about this for a while, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to imperil the legal case or draw attention to it in a way that would be polarizing against the victim. And I was hoping that there would be a hearing, the permanent protective order would be put in place, and then I could bring it all to you. That's what I was going to do back a few weeks ago. Remember when I said there was going to be the Tectone expose? Well, they had a hearing on the permanent protective order a few weeks ago, and I was waiting for the judge to make a decision so I could bring it all to you. However, Tectone and his attorney filed to delay the final decision. So that was granted by the court, and that's when he stopped streaming. I think it was September 3rd. Tectone stopped streaming September 3rd when the order for a continuance was granted. Now, there's been a few people that have been talking about this. Bint, friend of the show, Bint, posted this as a screenshot, which demonstrates the protective order has been issued. It was issued on August 21st, 2025, and then there was a hearing that was supposed to be on September 3rd. That's when I talked to you guys about the Tectone expose, and then it was delayed and extended twice. And the reason, and if you go and you look at Tectone, let's go ahead and look at it up. Let's look it up, Tectone YouTube. If we go and look at his videos, goodbye for now. What day was this video posted?
What's up, guys?
I wish they, instead of, okay, September 3rd. There it is, September 3rd. Black and white, clear as crystal. Okay, I gotta find the thing. I needed to, where the fuck is it? Oh, there it is. September, you see that extension? September 3rd. That's when he got offline because his lawyer said, stop talking about your victim on your stream or else you're gonna fucking go to jail. Stop targeting and threatening your victim on stream. Stop harassing her. Stop making sneak comments. Because if you do, you're gonna go to prison. This is why Tectone is not streaming. Protective order was issued. I mean, how many people in the Asmongold circle are going to be facing these kind of, abusive legal proceedings? I believe this is either a family violence PO or a sexual assault PO. What you need to prove depends on why you're asking for. And by the way, there are different levels, chat. There's protective orders, and that is the highest level. A protective order is like an extremely hard to get thing, like a permanent one. Like if you accuse someone of hurting you, you could oftentimes get a temporary protective order while the evidence is being collected. But a permanent protective order is a extremely hard thing to get. But it's not the only thing. You could also get restraining orders. Even if he were to win, there are also restraining orders. A TRO, if you're afraid of the other party will do something horrible before the temporary order's hearing, you could ask the judge to sign a temporary restraining order. So like and so he has been facing this protective order for months. And this is why he's not streaming. Tectone is currently being accused of a variety of crimes. And I can't believe he's still on the platform, quite honestly. Like, how many times has he violated TOS? How many times has he called for violence? How many slurs has he used? And he's facing this accusation, which involves serious criminal offenses. Did you see him tweet? People are defending him saying, wait, what? I mean, he blocked me because he knows I know. He knows I know. It's actually hilarious. My ops think that they're taking me down. What they're doing precisely what I knew they would do, what I needed to do as well. Remember this tweet. The story that will be told will be legendary. Just say it now then. Tecto, just say it now, buddy. Say it down. Say it now. What's the legendary story? Why are you waiting? Why are you waiting, bro? Hassan got outed as a serial dog abuser, so they start to shatter the emergency glass and get their backup emergency fat R word. Bro, the difference between Tectone and Stavros is funny, and Stavros gets his dick works, and Stavros isn't a disgusting parasite. You think this makes sense now? Why don't you rewatch Camp Canute Season 2? Didn't Asmongold cry about how Miskiff was bullying Tectone? Let them fight. Who gives a fuck? People say insert streamer name here, community is so bad, but bro, I am so much worse than my community. They're nice as fuck. Too nice, TVH. It's not luck. It's called getting up early and working a job. Bro, your job is perusing the latest bot farms to boost your stream. Like, what job are you doing? Multi-millionaires donating their community's money to charity to get tax write-offs for themselves. That's not how it works. You are a fucking idiot. You're a fucking moron. If I take money that someone gives me and I donate it, I'm still down money, dumb fuck. I just don't have to pay taxes on that dollar. So if somebody gives me $1 and I take that dollar and donate it, I'm still down that dollar, dumbass. I just don't have to pay taxes on the dollar. Jesus fucking Christ, he's an idiot. It doesn't like make my taxes lower by me donating that money. God, you're dumb. Jesus Christ, you're an idiot. Fuck, he's stupid. Valkyrie deleted this tweet, but like, how the fuck? Like, this guy is literally facing charges for abuse and harassment and sexual crimes, and he's tried to lecture Valkyrie? To everyone DMing me apologizing, y'all are all good. Y'all didn't know what I knew, and that's not your fault. I was saying things will make sense soon. Glad they do now, but warning, there's a lot more to come that will make you understand how things are still even worse than they appear. This is because Richard, I guess one of their friends was getting sued by a woman accusing him of raping her, and she decided to drop the case. Probably because, I don't know if you know this, chat, lawsuits are really expensive. Just because someone drops a lawsuit doesn't mean they were wrong. It just means they ran out of money. For any employee laid off by Twitch, my DMs are open. I would love to hear what issues you had to endure while in their employment. Chat, protective/restraining orders do not keep you safe. It does increase consequences for the abuser. Yes, that's basically the main point of it. Cops don't have the obligation to defend you, and many people on restraining orders have been murdered because cops didn't feel like responding to their calls. Tectone, and by the way, chat, Tectone is a botter. He buys bots. He bots the ever-loving shit out of his content. He bots the ever-loving shit out of everything. Who will be the next OnlyFans girl to call me out, bot their likes, then lock the comments? This poor dog. This poor dog. This dog knows what's up. So that's where we are now. Obviously, we're waiting on the hearing. The other thing. All I know, and by the way, this is If Tectone, innocent, if there wasn't extensive problematic evidence, why did he just stop streaming? Because he couldn't stop talking about his victim.
This is now my third time trying to record this video. I think that goes to show just how fucked up I am, because I'm usually like a one-take guy. It's been a couple days. I've been gone for about 5 days. Maybe you haven't even noticed. You probably haven't even noticed. If you see this video, it means I'm already gone. Title of the video: Techie, I thought you were dead. This video title scared the shit out of me. You can never stop clickbaiting, man. That's the name of the fucking game. Maybe some.
How come it seems like his neck is coming out of the side? You guys see what I mean with like the posture? Like when I sit up, like my head, like it's like straight. It goes straight, but it's like his body is like, he's like, yeah, like giggity. It's like a vulture's neck. What's going on here?
Some of you guys have noticed the stopping of YouTube uploads. Maybe some of you guys have noticed the stopping of YouTube streams and Twitch streams and even Twitter posts. But I've now been content creation free for a while now. And just to give the TLDR, this is gonna be a pretty rambly video. So I mean, maybe some of you guys will like it, maybe some of you guys won't. But I'm gonna be gone for a while, guys. And I want to let you know, if any of you guys think it's because of me streaming or me being stressed because the YouTube's, upload schedule, it's not. I love content creation. I do. It's just the culture that I have a problem with.
The culture is he's currently facing a protective order because he keeps harassing his victim. And his lawyer said, please stop harassing your victim every single stream. In fact, just stop doing it, because if you do it again, you might go to prison and the judge will probably rule against you. So please stop streaming until we get our hearing. That's why he's not streaming. He's hoping that by not streaming for a couple months, he'll be able to say, listen, yes, I was harassing her, but I stopped. I complied with the judge, and that's his hope. Imagine your client is Tectone. That's why I don't like the legal profession, chat. That's your client walks in and it's Tectone. I'm doing a 360 spin and moonwalking my way out of my office. I mean, I will talk about it more, but I don't want to draw more scrutiny onto the victim and harassment on the victim, because they don't deserve that. But we will be talking about it more going forward. I think you guys have gotten enough. Those of you who are enterprising, you can probably find out more about the case. Are you at least able to say how you know all this? I know because I have been following this case through the legal system. The public disclosures of documents in the legal system. Court documents are public record. So hopefully the judge is able to, hopefully the restraining order, the protective order, whichever it is properly ruled upon. And hopefully that can keep Tectone off the platform for good. Ugh. Kaiho has spoken. Am I saying her name right? Kaiho Shibuya. I don't know how to speak Japanese at all. I don't know how to say her name, but I know who you're talking about. She was on Hassan Street when he went to Japan, right? Kaiho? Is it Kaho? Shibuya. Kaiho. Okay, there you go. I tried. Yeah, she was on Hassan Street when he went. She's accusing Miskiff as well. What did he do? Oh, God. Ugh. I've always hated Miskiff. I've always hated Asmongold. I've always hated Miskiff. I've been on the hate train for these scumbags for so long. Yeah, Kat is being charged by the DOJ. We literally have that on screen. You're adding me with the thing that's currently on screen. We just watched the video, but yes, thank you for pointing it out. Miskiff always had cursed is absolutely true. The fucking worst. All right, chat. Hasanabi Productions put out this video about the incel epidemic, and I feel like this really is what we're facing, which is, can we get men away from this algorithmic cesspit and collapse, that isolation that partially caused by COVID, but also by the way social media and screens have engulfed our lives?
Yeah, that's not normal behavior. That's objectively abnormal behavior. And I think it's important to call it out. It's very strange. I got to, before we talk about the government shutdown, I got to cover this insane home math guy, one of Asmon Roach's favorite content creators. Okay, so this person, Bailey Moon, responds to Ben M. Freeman, who says, "Do not vote for Zohran Mamdani." Now, when you look at where Ben M. Friedman is coming from, I don't even think he is a New York resident. Maybe I'm wrong. But in any case, this girl says, too bad I did today.
This is like, okay, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but Bailey Moon 15 posted a picture of herself smiling, saying how she voted for Zohran Mamdani, and like the way her eyes and her smile and the little, like, this was psychosexual incel bait of the most intense degree. They lost their minds.
Voted for Zohran Mamdani. This caused people to lose their minds, okay? Including this guy. Homath equals psychomath. This is it, friends. This is where I come from. These are the fires in which my disgust was forged. The vacant stare, the Miss America smile, the trappings of middle-class conformist consumerism, the self-assured, momentary, tell me I'm pretty pose, clashing with the lack of effort and self-presentation, and the impatience of choosing an unflattering background.
You know, chat, I lived in Japan, and I learned something that for Western culture is kind of a surprising and shocking thing. But basically in Japan, shame, familial shame and personal shame are incredibly powerful motivators. And if a person humiliates themselves and their family so much, unforgivable. They have certain traditions that were practiced for hundreds of years, all the way through into the 20th century. And when I read Homath, I just can't help but think of those traditions and go, I would follow those traditions if I posted something like this. I cannot imagine a more pathetic, shameful, embarrassing message of all time. Who would be my assistant? Like, I honestly feel like I wouldn't need one. The amount of shame from this post is so extreme, I wouldn't need any assistant.
The smug, condescending delivery of the message. I have done what you wanted me not to do. All of it completely irrelevant to the topic at hand, forced awkwardly in front of it. Obscure.
Old Bobby, the Japanese have wonderful traditions. Some of them are wonderful, some not so much.
Replacing it, upstaging it, or so she hopes. Standing between you and what matters, she says only, look at me. Look at the difficulty I've caused for you. Witness the joy that I can only derive from being your problem. This is not about politics. She doesn't understand them. She doesn't even think she knows better than you. She only knows that you can't tell her what to do. She doesn't even think she has power. She only knows that you have even less. And this is where she places her heart. When the bill for her foolishness comes due, oh, how her expression will change. No longer a bold and toothy smile. Now a pouting bottom lip. No longer a triumphant hand in presentation of her own radiance. Now, through the eyebrow scowl, arms folded. No longer an empowered, educated feminist. Now a hapless princess in need. A real man pays the bill without asking. She offers nothing. She demands everything. She will never be held accountable for the destructiveness of her choices. She will be celebrated then as she is now. Not for her contributions, but because where she is celebrated is where she will choose to be. She is the table, and the table is set. And she placed her order, and all that now remains is waiting to be served. I think we need to...
Before we go on, I want you to realize that that is a 41-year-old man posting under the nom de plume Homath. If I was empowered, if you said, make Mike king of the day or chairman of the party of the day, that would be sufficient evidence for a permanent prison term. And my reaction is the reaction that Gianmarco and Stavros had to it.
You're the only one that I felt like I could get good advice from on this very particular topic. Stavros was one I wrote because I did Hassan Piker's show, and there was all the like dog electric collar things. And I'm like looking on the internet, I'm like, the internet's crazy, but is this a thing? Should I be worried? You had to understand Twitch, you had to understand Hassan, you had to understand the internet, you had to understand comedy. I'm taking in all these things from the internet, people saying Hassan Piker abuses his dog. And then the second I walked in there, the dog comes up and runs to me. I'm like, this is crazy.
No, there's no... When in doubt, it's just guys mad at Hassan.
Yeah.
He is the biggest lightning rod because, like, you have far left politics, which immediately kind of, you know, people attack you for whatever. But then he's just a piece of ass. And he's rich. He's like a hot Muslim who fucking, like, talks about left politics and got rich off their platform for video games. It's like you invented a guy for the stereotypical like groiper, incel, you know, whatever fan to be mad at. Having said that, he is a piece of shit. Whatever you do, not clip me giving him compliments because I also hate him for those exact reasons. And I am looking forward to his inevitable downfall when the Trump-controlled media does take his Twitch account away.
Listen, chat. Hassan's good. He's got fuck you money. I'm not there yet. Okay? I don't have fuck you money yet. Speaking of which, we are 4 hours into the stream, but I forgot the show. Can you help me get the fuck you money so that when my Twitch's account is taken away by the Trump administration and I'm sent to prison, can you give me some money? Can I get some subscribers, please? So that I can get to like at least flee to China money or flee to Austria money? Thank you. It's socialism or barbarism. Thank you for the 10 tier 1s. Senior Miyagi, thank you for the 5 tier 1s. Thank you for the resub. Aegis for 6 Aegis. Are you okay, Aegis? Or did it happen? Did it happen to you as well? I'm good. Thanks for asking. Team was impacted though. Okay. Everybody, DSA 7 Aegis. He keeps us safe. He's got the Order of Romeo. Holy fuck. It's been 69 months. Holy shit. Dave Azu, plastic chairs. Thank you all for resubbing. Appreciate you. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't even know what to say anymore about this. It is an embarrassing reality that we live in, where you have these online influencers telling young men that them being disgusting, unshowered misogynists is actually based.
Institutionalize people like this. Controversial opinion. But if you see...
Oh, chat, we have a hype train. Now, remember, chat, during a hype train, the top sub-gifter and the top bit donor, they get the conductor badge next to their name, which is a golden locomotive that then becomes a purple locomotive. What kind of leftist doesn't like trains? And I will tell you, when somebody has the fucking conductor badge next to their name, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I say, oh, that's a good person. Oh, they didn't mean to be annoying. Oh, I probably just misreading their question. You know, I don't immediately go ban. I'm like, oh, it's a conductor. I'm just being honest. So what I'm saying is, help me help you. Get that conductor badge next to your name. Get that get out of jail free card. Tax the Titans, Rhetoric, thank you both for resubscribing. Sarah Deese, thank you for the 200 bits. Very smart. You are now the conductor badge. Angelus, you tied by giving 200 bits as well. So if you tie the previous person, meaning you give the same amount of subs or bits as the previous person, they win because they gave it first. Tie goes to the person that's there first.
If you see someone being...
Fuck you! God fucking damn it! Son of a fucking bitch! Wait, did I get back in time? Did I get back in time or did it drop? I made it in time? Well, why is my viewers fall to 1,200 then? It should be 4,500 is what it was at! Son of a fucking bitch! Fuck you, Twitch! I fucking hate you! Everybody, type 1. Everybody type fucking 1. I'm so fucking pissed off right now. You have no idea how enraging it is, because when you go offline, Twitch decides to fuck your shit. It decides to just fuck your shit. If Twitch was any good at being a platform, they would just freeze your fucking viewership and they would keep the people on instead of being incredibly fucking useless. I was off for what, 30 seconds max? It's not 1,000, it's 1,500 down, which is literally 30%. Like, come the fuck on, man. I'm on mobile and got thrown out. Yeah, exactly. You son of a fucking bitch. God fucking damn it. All right, well, might as well get back to the content. I'm going to be triggered because I was having a great stream too. I was having a good stream. I'm going to turn the color of my wall. Do you think I can turn the color of my wall if I try? All right, let's try. Alrighty. Holy shit. Okay. I have blood back into my head. I may have put too much blood in my head. Let's keep going.
Have a different view to them. It takes a whole new genre of misogyny. When you're pretty and have a different view, this is actually seriously what happens in their minds. They cannot process the results of different ideologies any further than I have an idea and you have an idea, so we're equal, like kindergarten. And then they look, wait, what? Wait, this is kind of like a, isn't this, this used to be the right-wing position against liberals, which was, oh, it's just a difference in opinion. Why are you getting so mad about it? And then they look for what could be causing
passing out,
negative emotion. Of course, the first thing they find is everyone wants to me. That's it. That's all that's in there. Ideas are interchangeable and everything just happens as a response to my sexuality. No, I think in your situation.
Bro, you literally made a post about how she was free from accountability for her actions and you made no effort whatsoever to challenge her takes.
And it's that.
Oh, it did.
That's not always the case.
My title changed.
Your response, like this person's response to something that is not all that significant, like a silly response being taken super sincerely, it kind of does feel like you have some pathological sexual desire here. And she has no clue why we wouldn't want people like this voting, and she never will. They keep doing it. Even when you explain it, they do it again. It's literally, you cannot process the fact that there are many ideologies out there, none of them absolute, and everyone is entitled to their own. You've literally repeated your own ignorance. Now shut up and mind your own. Yeah. She has no concept of maps and territories. If she could conceive that concept, she would explain, we just have different territories, and she would be right. Not for the right reason. My wife decides using feelings, then she uses her reason to justify the choice. Homath is a prolific misogynist. His tweets.
Mike is gonna be like, I just tasted sound for a second, and I think I hate trans people now. I almost knocked myself out. That's for sure. I gave myself. Did you guys ever play the knockout game when you were growing up, or is that only me and other delinquents? I gave myself CTE many times over. And yet, even though I am a frequent victim of the knockout game, I still have managed to remain more intelligent than every single person who likes Donald Trump. Think about that for a second. I'm fucking downgraded. I'm like demoted. I'm depowered. Did you play Gauntlet? What the fuck? Of course I did. In fact, in hockey practice, the Gauntlet was part of it. We would just gauntlet each other.
I know. I'm familiar with Homath. I know. He's one of the he's one of the most insane. The problem isn't that he's insane. Insane people have always existed. The problem is there are other people just as.
So the Gauntlet is basically you have one person and then everybody lines up and they try to run or skate or whatever past the ball and each person hits you individually.
It's insane. He has a career posting like this. I'm 40. Oh my God. I was 16 on January 1st, 2000. I spent 4 years in college, 6 years living in my hometown, and then 10 years in big blue cities. During that time, Gen Z women grew up and became, oh my God, he's 40.
This is what we used to play in the 80s and early 90s, chat. And in the early 2000s as well. Most of that shit is not, I think we stopped. Amazing clip. I might have to check this clip out on my other monitor while we listen to Hassan making fun of incels.
Did not know that. My life experience is based almost entirely on millennial women. The TikTok girlies are exactly like them, only a bit, and then it's not a clickable. How is there a ... more on there, but it's not even like a clickable long tweet? I mean, this quite literally is no more Mr. Nice Guy. Wait, what? No more Mr. Nice Guy? I feel guilty when I say no. Practical female psychology for the practical man, the rational man.
I can't believe I knocked myself out. That's fucking
oh my
great.
God, this guy's sincerely posting this. Oh my God, I thought he was making fun of Homath by being like, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, it's a pause for effect. Oh, it's italicized text. He edited the formatting on Twitter. I'm just incredible. You're cooked too. Dude is way too old to be dating Gen Z women. He's like 14 years old and the older Gen Z. What the? I watched like one of his vids for the drawings, then quickly found out his autistic hyperfixation is misogyny. Yeah. I think one of the saddest parts about this kind of shit is that like guys, young men especially, and even older men who are mentally stunted do not realize that these guys cannot give them any advice because they have no relevant experience in the field. So all they end up doing, what these guys end up doing is basically just coddle these people.
Did I actually pass out? Guys, if you pass out, you tend to have like a little bit more disorientation. I put my head down because I did, though. I was like feeling a little bit more, how do you put this? Fucked up than I thought I was going to be. I made myself a little woozy. And I was like, oh, fuck. I actually grade myself, or like rented myself out a little bit.
People and push them further into the depths of
these edibles ain't shit moment.
Women. That's their entire goal. It's just coddling. It blows my mind that people people don't see it. Their purpose here is not to help you navigate the treacherous nature of interpersonal relations with the other gender. Okay, it's not about like teaching you how to navigate talking to women and find a lifelong partner or whatever. It's just about making you feel like, you know, you're not at fault at all. You've done nothing. You've done all the right things, and that women don't want to you regardless, and not because of your stinky vibes, stinky demeanor, or just like literal stink. And because
Mike Hassan tweeted about JD Vance Collargate. I know, I just replied. Oh my god, dude. DHS Secretary Christy Doe point blank executed her puppy and dumped his body in a landfill. None of these people care about animal welfare. The admin is shutting off 14 million people's SNAP benefits, causing them to starve. They don't care about human welfare either. Oh no. We are living in a world I don't understand. I don't understand the world we're living in. The world we're living in is fucking, it can't be real. But somehow it is. Somehow the world we're living in is fucking real.
You're entitled to this, and they won't give you what you were entitled to because they've deluded themselves into thinking they have any autonomy in this process. And all that does is teach people, mostly young men, and even some older men that behave like silly little boys, that there is no way out of this, that you should just hate women. You should just give up. They get really mad when your aesthetics don't match what they think of a leftist woman should look like. Ugly, unfuckable. Some fascist tried to ask me out in an academic function. I always wear my wedding band. So I said no. He's not talking over me and interrupting me since then. It's exhausting in mostly male environments. I think that's part of the reason why I brick a lot of right-wing and reactionary brains as well, because they've like fancied themselves to they see themselves as like beacons of masculinity, but they don't actually look the part. And these guys are lizard brain for the most part, despise it. Oh, this was my favorite. I saw this tweet. I couldn't believe it. They were gamers, anime and manga fans, and pop culture commentators who never touch politics. But as the world drifted from truth and woke politics invaded our hobbies, many content creators turned political to defend their passions. Leftists, thriving on lies and disinformation, hate it when apolitical people join the fray, facing death threats, false allegations, and insane propaganda from the mentally unwell, and are labeled grifters. As George Orwell puts it, George Orwell, the further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. More people are getting red pill daily, unable to tolerate the nonsense promoted by mainstream news. So when I first saw this, I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought this person was like making a joke collage to make fun of these losers, right? Nope. Turns out this is something that this person genuinely believes. And it turns out that like this is how the fandom of these content creators also see themselves as. Every single person on this list, if you were to try to explain their positions to a random person in the real world, or what they do, or the space that they occupy online, most people in the real world would look at you like, what do you mean a cartoon pedophile Nazi that defends Israel unconditionally is constantly talking about, you know, video games not serving his sexual desires, and how this is a grand scheme by woke. What? Life, man. I want this on the record. I'm a sexless 39-year-old Warhammer nerd who's not angry at women or really at anything. Every time I see one of these hateful so grateful that I'm not built like that. My advice to young men, just be normal and relax. Speaking of incel culture, there was this video from The Guardian on TikTok about that is about a guy who brought himself out of the incel pipeline and made me a bit hopeful.
Like, hey, we just want to be better with dating. We just want better social skills, right? And then before you know it, you're talking about like women.
I think one of the things that Red Pill, before this guy talks about Red Pill too much, one of the things that they do that is very effective is they're an empowering movement. What I mean by that is They move the power. No, I don't mean it's an empowering movement in a good sense. I mean an empowering in a bad sense. But just let me finish before we lose your shit. Okay. I'm not saying it's good. What I mean by that is the locus of control is in your chest. So like in the red pill movement, you can improve your dating by working out, getting better clothes, but also manipulation tactics and understanding women's psychology. That's people like about it, because it's almost a twisted form of self-help. Whereas the problem that a lot of the left-wing conversations about this stuff is we focus on an external locus of control, meaning men are becoming more lonely as a whole. Men are becoming more isolated. People are becoming more isolated. And we take the locus of control and we take it to the environment or the systems or whatever. If something is an internal locus of control, you have power to do shit. That's what I meant when I said empowering. It empowers you to make changes to try to improve your life. Whereas a left-wing analysis of this shit talks about systematic effects, and to fix that, you have to change the system. Well, you're just some guy. So if somebody tells you it's not your fault, that doesn't feel good. That's not enough. People want something to do to actively push back against the problems in their life. And this is where the left is not succeeding. The left needs to create internal locus of control. Yes, we all acknowledge that material reality is what affects us. Yes, we all acknowledge that all of us have systems and histories and things that are, and structures that are outside of us and affect so much about our lives. But what we really need to do is build up those internal, we need to give people something they can do to improve themselves. And that's actually what I like about Hassan. Hassan talks about how everybody could be a 7. Now, I think that's a little bit generous. I think everybody could be a 6. 7 is a pretty high number. What he's really trying to say is everybody, if you work on yourself, work on your style, you work on your hygiene, you work on having passion, you work on your social skills, everybody could be a 6 or a 7. Chat, I'm trying to bait chat engagement so we get over 4K again, so I don't feel bad about myself, okay? Can we get back above 4K so I don't feel bad about myself? Fucking lost my internet for 10 seconds. Like, learning how to cook is a great thing. Like, having passion, working on your social skills, having hobbies, gaining personal style, working out, taking care of yourself. You can really improve your attractiveness to other people. And also being empathetic, being thoughtful, learning to have conversations. Me, it's work. You know what really hurts me is I am very much, I don't give a fuck too much. I'm a little bit too, some people would say arrogant. I would say overconfident. So I've been trying to reel my shit back in. And I'm very opinionated, which can rub some people the wrong way. I have that autistic or ADHD trait where I want to rush past small talk and get to like interesting conversations about people's thoughts and their values and their beliefs and their experiences and their opinions. Like I want to learn about you. But I think but in order to do that, you have to build rapport first and trust. And you have to demonstrate that you're normal. And I think for me, I'm a little bit of a bruiser in conversations sometimes. So I'm working on, I'm working on being a little bit less arrogant. Small talk is actually important, but it is boring. I did Jaman. Thank you for the 5 tier 1s. Like, since you came back from your ban, I will say that you have appreciated your commentary more, and I have appreciated the effort you've put in. I've seen it. I want to put it out there as someone who is in and out of the space. Just be in my space. It's a great space.
Men are dogs, and you need to train them. When I was 17, I fell down.
It's the confidence we have in our materialist beliefs and that touch of autism making it hard for us not to get why others don't appreciate the facts we speak. I apparently offended somebody recently by making a joke about dentists. I thought everybody was allowed to make fun of lawyers and dentists. I thought that was the safe professions that you could make fun of. I thought that was fine, but apparently that was just a rule I made in my own head. Apparently, if you say anti-dentist shit, it can be offensive to some people, which makes sense. People's parents are dentists and people's, parents are lawyers or whatever. I'm a rabid anti-dentite. That's right. I may have been a little bit abrasive with my anti-dental humor. You can also make fun of straight male gynecologists. Okay, I'm going to be awoke for a second and just say, I think that the medical profession is highly revered, but also highly flawed. And I've known really compassionate male gynecologists. The profession as a whole, male gynecologists have a very dark history. I had a male gynecologist and he was terrible and dismissed my issues. Yeah, that is incredibly insane. I can't imagine doing that. Like, what the fuck?
The red pill pipeline, and I managed to get myself out about 5 years later. The term red pill comes from the movie The Matrix. So it's basically saying that you have a truth or knowledge no one else seems to have. They would say that society is gynocentric, which means that society caters to women, that women only want the top 20% of guys. And this isn't true.
The only people who believe this legitimately do not know any women. The one thing about my life is I have always been friends with and girl. When I was young, I was friends with girls and boys. When I was as an adult, I've always been friends with women. A lot of my favorite people on this platform are mostly women. And I could tell you, as somebody who has been pretty successful dater for what I've got, and is a happy relationship, women are not just dating the top 20% of men. All right, like I'm sorry, that's just not true. That's just not true. That's just not fucking true. I've seen short, fat, unemployed dudes dating women way more attractive than them, way more intelligent than them, way more career, successful than them. Like, what the fuck? Women are the raccoons. Like, straight women are the raccoons of the dating world. They like to eat trash. I just made that up. I literally just made that up. So anybody telling you women only like the top 20% of men is wrong. That's just not the case.
So I would say at 17, I was socially awkward, very introverted. I felt I was ugly in high school. So I went on YouTube and looked up tips regarding dating and women.
The thing is, this kind of stuff works very well for an audience that has given up on existing in the real world. And as we spend more time on the internet, and as stuff on the internet now has the capacity to change the way we see the real world more and more, those guys dominate, even if they never go outside. That's a big problem. That is a major issue. You don't go outside, lol. Brother, I am the most outside, despite the fact that I exist in this unique space where I am permanently online, but also every moment that I'm not permanently online is a moment where I'm outside. I mean, even yesterday, here we go. Wait, what? What do you mean, here we go? What are you afraid of the truth? Like, are you afraid of hearing objective reality? What do you mean? Why are you going la la la? I can't hear you. I don't want to hear you. Don't ban me for I'm not. Now you're fantasizing about potentially being oppressed. Going to simply explain to you that what you're saying is wrong, because I was literally at a major rally surrounded by 13,000 people yesterday, and before then spoke at a conference, spoke at a festival. It's perhaps the most opposite of being permanently inside. Not only that, but I also spent a good deal of time earlier this morning talking about the benefits of being outside as opposed to constantly remaining indoors. Don't I see that? It's a good question. That is a good question. It's one that you got to ask yourself, I think. Yeah, he wasn't in here yesterday. Anyway, I'm pretty sure sexual humiliation is what the left does all the time. They project their own insecurities being mentally stunted, which is why the projection people use calling everyone mentally ill is a confession from leftists. The left uses humiliation tactics to avoid education. This is why people think education is racist and offensive. Yeah, it's the left that feels like education is racist and offensive. You're right. Out of the two major parties, which one is the one that's actively engaging in battle against education, claiming it's woke? And result to educating themselves in idols and people who tell them what to believe. It's a flaw in education. Shaming people doesn't work. It just creates a tribal justice mindset. Okay. Don't you play basketball with people all the time? I do. I watch a good amount. I guess Republicans are clearly fascist. Yes. In any case, sometimes it's okay to engage in a little bit of social ostracization towards people who are demonstrating socially maladaptive behavior. Writing a long screed about a woman for posting a selfie about herself saying she
voted for someone as well.
For Zohran Mamdani of that. If you see a random girl online saying, well, I did vote for Zohran Mamdani, okay, against a post that was demanding that people not do that, and you write multiple paragraphs, yeah, that's not normal behavior. objectively abnormal behavior. And I think it's important to call it out. It's very strange. It's very strange to get offended at calling something like that out. And it goes back to the same cycle of demanding coddling. I think everyone has the capacity to rehabilitate themselves and change. We're in the process of watching someone literally go through the motions of doing so, okay? Just as the sense of community building plays a formative role in capturing the attention of these young men, preying on their insecurities and pushing them further and further into this black-pilled environment, I think a little bit of pushback is necessary so that some of these guys understand that their positions are wrong. I think belittling works very well. The reason why it works very well is because it actually robs you of the power that you think you have. Because if people were to fear what that person is saying, then they're left with the notion that, like, oh, I'm doing something right because these people are negatively polarized against me because they fear me, because they fear the truth. If your goal is to shame these people a little bit, I think that hurts a little bit harder. But make no mistake.
But I thought, wait, why is his life suck so much? If he understands women so well, why does his life suck so much? Why isn't he able to entrap a beautiful woman with all his manipulations and understanding of female psychology?
My ultimate goal always has been...
I think the main thing, the best piece of advice I ever got is unironically because I have 3 sisters. And basically, my dad told me, treat them like a human being. And so I never, and that's it. I never treated women or girls like a girl. I saw them as... I didn't put them on a pedestal and I didn't look down on them. I just treated them like human beings, had conversations. That's it. Like it's this like idealization and objectification that it's just like, why?
To show an alternative vision, to show that there is a different path.
And it eventually led me down this deep, dark hole. It was able to kind of take the weight of blame off of myself. Like, actually, women are the ones in control. You're actually the victim in this situation. It's a very appealing thing to be the victim. I didn't view it as like, I've got to put them down type of thing. Like, it was saying that, hey, we understand why you feel bad. If you just learn what we have to give you, you'll be the one winning here soon. Before you know it, you're commenting, you're reading more of it, but at the same time, you're distrustful of the women around you. You're distrustful of people around you because you think they don't know what you know. It just degrades your own mental health. You start, without even realizing it, isolating yourself. I actually felt really embarrassed if people caught me, which kind of is a telltale sign that's probably you should be watching it. I first started questioning my beliefs when I went through a breakup. Me and a friend of mine, we went to a cabin party. I started crying in front of one of the girls who I liked there. This girl responded rather with like shame and disgust that the red pill told me that they would react. She was actually like really kind about it. And that kind of made me think, what if I'm wrong? And then afterwards, I was bar hopping with a group of guys, and a few of them were red pilled. It was the first time actually meeting other red pill guys, and I could just kind of see how bitter and angry they were.
There it is. There it is, dude. That's when...
I think that we've all had these phases in our life where we felt bitter or we felt angry about the world around us and how unfair shit was and how... And we, as I said before, we try to give you that external locus of control. And here's the reality about life. This is very unsatisfying, but it's good advice, which is a lot of your life is outside of your control. And you have to learn to accept what you can't change. However, a lot of what's going on in your life, you can change. And more importantly, we can change. So it makes sense, like watching what you eat, exercising. Those are things that you can actively do that don't cost you anything. Like you could go and do body weight workouts in the fucking park for no money. And that will increase your health. That will improve your health and your fitness and your appearance. Now, is that the best way to work out? Is that the most efficient way to work out? No, it's not. Putting in that effort, putting in that energy, putting in that thought, you can improve aspects of your life.
The internet world and the real world collide, and you realize that behavior that is rewarded in the...
Start in the kitchen, learn to cook. Yeah, I mean, if you have the means, learning how to cook is an incredible life skill. Preparing yourself meals, cooking for others it could be a way of bonding with other people. You know, everybody likes a good cook. Am I right, Solio?
Circles that you're normally in on the internet when matched against real world experiences, all of a sudden it creates that sense of shame.
This one guy, and he was trying to do pickup techniques. It was obvious that the girls weren't liking it at all, but he kept getting more and more aggressive. I'm like, is this how I see the world? And it kind of disgusted me. I feel very guilty and ashamed because it's just like, you really thought that, man? Like, this is totally unnuanced. Reason I say it's compared to a cult, they don't like outsiders. They don't like outside thought. A lot of the comments started also sounding the same too. There was no original thought. There's a lot of, you guys make me feel like I'm at home, complaining about women, repeal the 19th. That's the amendment that allows women to vote. There was a lot of rage. I have a mom, I have women friends, so it would be kind of like, I don't want to take away their rights. And then over time they got really disgusting. I don't feel comfortable saying some of the other stuff I saw, just vile, misogynistic comments. That was another thing that helped me realize my beliefs in the red pill were wrong. When I first started to decide to actively stop watching red pill content, it was like flooding my feed. I would just click not interested, not interested. But regardless, they just kept appearing over and over. So yeah, it took me roughly about a year. I'm on ex-red pill forums to help other people out like I would have helped me out. Helping others too is kind of maybe a way of like rectifying it. So something I wish that someone would told me when I was in the red pill, not everyone who tells you that you're right is your friend. I feel like content creators in the red pill, they don't believe sincerely what.
Yup, nailed it. And it's so funny because like, if you have any social experience, any normal social experience as an adult, you instantly clock these guys as being deeply insecure. And I mean the content creators. They are always putting on a front, this bravado, this machismo, or what they claim is like masculine energy is a show. It's pure theater. And it's actually making up for what they feel, what they are insecure about. It's all fake. And there's never been a moment where I've seen any of these guys and thought, wow, that's a real confident guy. It's super performative.
Feed in Strawman, none of you addressed the substance of his argument to normalize anti-U.S. imperialism as a leftist American principle. I have been against every single imperialist action of the United States of America for a decade. I think voting for the guy that AIPAC hates is certainly going to do more than posting YouTube videos from Argentina. Like, come on. And I'm not even defending Plattner. I'm just saying, if we're talking about anti-imperialism, like destroying the power of AIPAC. AIPAC wins, one, because of the money they give actually buys ads, which changes people's minds in reality. But also, and this is the more important factor, AIPAC is powerful because politicians think it's powerful. So politicians surrender to AIPAC without AIPAC having to spend $1. So when you have anti-AIPAC politicians, I am willing to do critical support if it means defeating AIPAC. Like, come on. What are you doing? I mean, he goes after Zoran too. So really, you're talking about I haven't seen Badapinata finding fucking principled anti-imperialist politicians and boosting them. Is he going through every single politician who's running for the state legislature or Congress or Senate in the entire country and finding the candidates that align with him politically so he could use his platform to boost them? So if you don't care, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up about Plattner.
And it's ironic because it's much more performative than what some people on the internet call like performative males. I was in that pipeline until I ran into a Hassan Abi production compilation of e-girls thirsting over you. I realized my goats at the time are no having losers and needed to emulate you. 6 years later, I don't even care about women, just reading books and debating right-wingers online. A song, you ruined my life. So they're using hating women to make it a political persecution towards women rather than self-help. That makes a lot of sense. That's exactly what it is. It's dude, everyone wants to feel welcome, okay? Everyone wants to feel like they have no responsibility over their own demise. And to a certain degree, systemic factors play a major role in this, for sure. But it's not feminism. Usually, if we're talking about systemic factors harming you from the outset, I'm on board when you talk about capitalism. But when you talk about like women's emancipatory movements or women wanting to have equality as the major reason as to why there's this dynamic, it's just so it's silly. It's just people trying to desperately shift the attention away from whatever their own personal failures might be, and instead of addressing said personal failures, going to men who are projecting their insecurities and having them coddle them to say, you're not at fault at all. It's actually the women who are at fault because they're feminist. Women believe that they should have equality, and that's bullshit. That's why you don't get the that you're entitled to. How do we fix this?
I like making chatters mad, but not Mike. Okay, Monster Hunter, you should really find a better hobby, bro. Like, what are you doing? That's It's just an idiotic. That's an idiotic statement. Like, grow up, bro.
I mean, one of the only ways to fix this is just by having better thought leaders and better male role models like Low Key. And also getting these dudes. What about women's wrongs? What about it? Fatlo tweeted about you. Does Matt Bernstein have any shame? Wait, I can answer that. Hassan Piker's a misogynist, animal-abusing, terrorist-loving moron, but grifters of a feather flock together. When are all of you free Palestine Jew haters going to wake up? Fatlo.
They say, and they're only saying it to get money and time out of you. Feminism is not bad. It's required in today's society. Also, men and women have different preferences, and sometimes you won't meet them. That's nothing personal. I think community is the solution for this. The isolation and self-involved nature of these is what's leading people down these rabbit holes. There are still lots of men, especially young men, who are being introduced to these philosophies. And if I can avoid anyone from feeling the loneliness and rage and isolation I felt when I was that young, that's a win. You start out, if you're just like, hey, we just want to be better with dating. We just want better social skills.
W growth. Insane growth. I think it's notable that what got him to realize he was in the wrong was a moment of connection and vulnerability with another person is so important, is why these red pill creators will encourage men to isolate and put up a wall. Exactly. And a lot of these dudes, after getting their brains broken by shit that they see online, a lot of these dudes will self-isolate. Exactly like a cult. They'll self-isolate so they never have to be corrected at all, not realizing that that is actually hurting them even further. But yeah, a little bit of pushback in that regard is necessary, in my opinion. It's certainly necessary when you're trying to show people that this is not the way, you know? When you're trying to show people that this is not socially acceptable.
Okay, Chad, I don't know if you know this, but there was a double mishap in the South China Sea.
So the Nimitz had 2 crashes within a half hour, which is wild, unprecedented in my world. The Navy is now probing fuel supply after Trump points to bad fuel, because they asked President Trump, hey, what do you think? But hey, on Sunday, 2:45 p.m., MH-60R Seahawk assigned to the Battle Cats, not the Tomcats, were and an FA-18F, so 2-seater, from the Fighting Redcocks of Strike Fighter Squadron 22 also crashed. All crew from both aircraft were safely recovered, thankfully, very thankfully. We asked if there could be a foul play. Trump told reporters it could be bad fuel. I mean, it's possible it's bad fuel.
Trump just saying shit. Like, not only is Trump stupid, he's also just, like, he thinks he's a guy. He just thinks he's a fucking guy. He's like a guy at the end of the bar riffing bullshit. Could have been bad fuel. Who knows? Bro, you're the president. You're supposed to be the source of authority and information. You're not supposed to just riff speculation like a fucking idiot. You're the guy who's supposed to know the shit. God, shut your fucking mouth, you blubbering idiot.
Unusual that would happen. They think it might be bad fuel. We'll find out. Nothing to hide. 2 sources familiar with the initial Navy investigation confirmed Trump's comments and said that contaminated fuel in the aircraft was a leading suspect in both crashes, before saying the initial reports were far from the final word. Complete investigation of the crashes could take months or years, as we found out when trying to find other mishap board reports. The Super Hornet and Seahawk operate with JP-5, Navy's at-sea jet fuel, which is stored and pumped from the tanks aboard the Nimitz and resupplied from Military Sea Lift Command fleet oilers. Those oilers are in turn resupplied from the Pentagon-approved fuel sources. Go up, Doug. I just want to clarify where this happened. This was in the South China Sea with USS Nimitz CVN-68, which is right around the time the president's in the region. So that's what we know. Gonki, our resident seafaring expert, please weigh in.
My first question is, where is the Gettysburg?
Oh, man, that was going to be my thing.
Too soon? No, not really.
Soon. The Gettysburg was not available for comment.
So when I first heard that, what I actually thought was kind of from an old, I don't know if it was a sea story or a true story, but I was told in water survival class that there was I think it was a Tomcat or an F4 that crashed, and the guys are floating in the water, and the helicopter comes, picks them up, and on the way back to the ship, the helicopter crashes. And then the second helicopter rolls up, and the F4 guys are like, no, we're way on the ship. So in my mind, I thought that maybe the SH-60 was on its way to rescue the Hornet.
Dude, didn't that happen off the coast of California, where the guy was the survivor?
That was in training
of a training exercise, and the helicopter crashes, and he had because they tell that story when you go to Swim Fizz, which is water survival training for the Navy, where they make you do the helo dunker, and I'm like, why? Why do I have to do the helo dunker?
Yeah, so he was actually he was in IP with me. Great dude. His account of the story is basically, he was the downed aviator simulated, him and I forget who, Wizzo, and picked him up, and they're flying back at night. And he said they're just sitting there fat, dumb, and happy, and all of a sudden the doors open and there's commotion, and they're just sitting there smiling, and they just hits the water, flips upside down, and sinks. He's like, it was wild, and he almost died. He almost drowned because he lost his reference. And he swam around inside there. He was underwater for like over a minute, something like that.
Worst nightmare.
But I guess getting back to the Nimitz, then I started reading, and I saw where it was actually the SH-60 that crashed first.
Oh.
Yeah. So the 60 crashed. 30 minutes later, the Super Hornet crashed. Either way, that has to be a very confusing time on a carrier.
Absolutely.
So you're having 2 aircraft crashing during normal operations, not some sort of like conflict, not some sort of confrontation with Chinese forces. They just dove in and they want us to fight China. Now, if you're not a history buff, chat, the United States is so similar in attitude to and position as Imperial Japan was when compared to the United States. It's not even funny. Like the arrogance of Americans, the fact that we've been in unnecessary wars for 20 fucking years. We have an overbuilt military, but a tiny and shrinking industrial base against a country which has been focused on internal development for 70 years. Like, and the arrogance of the United States, the industrial like capacity of China, the fact that we're even like pretending like we could fight China is nothing short of madness. What we should be doing is aligning ourselves with China. We should be forming an alliance with China. We should be integrating our partnership with China. We should be asking China to help us build up our domestic infrastructure. Like we're doing the exact opposite of what humanity needs. The exact opposite.
Because I've been on a carrier where we have had crashes, and I can't imagine, because everybody is kind of like glommed off on that, right? All the resources, the SAR helos out there, and everybody's getting ready, flight ops to shut down, or they're doing whatever they got to do to get the guys and gals back on board safely that are involved. And then I can imagine 30 minutes later, like picking up the phone, it's like, hey, we got another crash. What? So that had to be a very stressful time, and it is odd that you have 2 in a row, but I'd be interested in the contaminated fuel.
So they don't know anything. They're just riffing. All I could say is, oh my Lord in heaven, I hope we don't get into yet another war, because this incompetent country cannot fight. All right, another story. Tomorrow, chat, I think we're going to take a deeper dive into the Sudan story, Sudan coverage. I want to talk about more, because some of the stories that are emerging are really depressing and sad, and that story has been undercovered on this stream. Hey, Mike, will you go to China? Hugo has been there, and Hassan is going to China. It's definitely something I want to do. Probably, we'll see. I don't have any immediate plans. Oh, no. Americans reverse course on U.S.-China competition. Majority of Americans now say the United States should undertake friendly cooperation and engagement with China, up from 40% in 2024. Yes, we did it. We fucking did it! 2/3 of Democrats prefer the United States to undertake friendly cooperation and engagement with China rather than actively work to limit China's influence. 1/3 of Republicans agree. Americans are now evenly divided over whether U.S.-China weakens or strengthens U.S. national security. The majority of Democrats now believe U.S.-China trade strengthens U.S. national security, while Republicans continue to see it as weakening. American views of China rebound to pre-pandemic levels. Let's fucking go. Markets are crashing. Did they not cut rates? Dow drops 200 points, reversing gain as Powell says Fed may not cut again this year. And it was a new high. Is that going to be the top? It's a boom, it's a bubble. It's still not enough for investors. It's AI. NVIDIA takes $1 billion stake in Nokia, which will deploy for its AI plans. So in other words, NVIDIA is giving money to companies so they buy their AI shit. This bubble is going to take down like every single major company. The Federal Reserve policymakers announced a 0.25 percentage point basis cut, bringing the benchmark rate range between 3.75 and 4%. The vote was 10-2. The Fed announced it would be ending the reduction of its asset purchases, a process known as quantitative tightening, on December 1st.
And that suggested that stable prices will suggest that you consider a level.
I'll gift you a sub to gift a sub on my channel. Bro, you are... I don't know how to explain this to you, but I don't do sub for sub. Are you okay?
That we would freeze the size. And of course, reserves will continue to as non-reserve. So this happened. Some things have been happening for some time now, showing really in the last, you've seen more significant. The other thing is, you know, the balance sheet is shrinking very slow, reduced it by half. And so there's not a lot of benefit to be holding on to get the last few dollars. The reserves are going to continue to shrink as non-reserve. You know, there was support on we thought about it and announce December 1, the December 1 date.
Thank you, Colby Smith with the New York Times. So much of the rationale for cutting interest rates, even as inflation moves away from the 2% target, seems to be, you know, that there are these mounting downside risks to the labor market. But if those don't materialize, and the labor market either stabilizes around current employment levels or even starts to somewhat, how would that change your perception of how much? Would you then be a bit more concerned about underlying
That's not
inflation?
a bad idea. Oh, God, chat. They were making a joke. I'm so dumb. They were making a joke. They were saying, Mike, sub to me and I'll sub to you. Oh, God. They're making it. They were making an NVIDIA joke. I may have lost some IQ points after I knocked myself nearly out, chat. Uh-oh.
And in the possibility of second round effects.
Uh-oh. I'm a little lightheaded still.
If you were to see data that suggested that the labor market's strengthening or even that it's stabilizing, you know, that would certainly play into our decisions. So, and we do have, you know, we get some data. The labor market is a place where we, for example, we get the state level, which are sending. We also get job open, and we'll get lots of survey data like that. So we'll have a picture of what's going on. And, you know, the fact that we're not seeing an uptick or a downtick suggests that you maybe can. So that does give you.
But if this shutdown lasts a while longer and you don't have that data in hand, I'm just wondering how that hinders the committee's ability to assess the state of the labor market and make the right, and also how much is that factor into the debate about just.
You know, we get like I mentioned what we get in the labor area. We get some data in and some data in, and we'll have a picture of what's going on. We also will. I would say we're not going to be able to have the detailed of things, but I think if there were a significant material change, economy one way or another, I think we'd pick that. So in terms of how it might affect December, it's really hard to, you know, the meetings, I guess, we just don't know what we're going. If there is a very high level of uncertainty, then that could be an argument of caution about moving, but we'll have to see how it unfolds.
Steve Leisman, CNBC. Mr. Chairman, can you characterize the meeting in terms of, you said strongly differing views. Was this a close call, this cut, or was it a close call maybe the other way because you had dissents on both sides?
So I was referring to the discussion about, to the extent it related to December. You saw we had two dissents. You know, that was a strong, solid vote in favor of. The strongly differing views were really about the future. And I think people are saying, you know, they're noticing stronger economic. Forecasters have raised their economic growth forecast quite.
Thank you, Roach from Asmongold's room.
In the meantime, we see, you know, a labor market that I don't want to say stable. It's not clearly it's not clearly the case. It may be just. And again, people have different forecasts, risk tolerance. So there's you know, you read the SEP, you read this, you know, there are differing views on to the point where.
Just to follow up on the balance sheet, if you stop it, the runoff now, does that mean you have to go back to actually adding assets sometime next year so that the balance sheet doesn't, as a percent of GDP, and become a tightening factor?
So you're right. The place we'll be on December 1 is that the size of the balance sheet, mortgage-backed securities mature, we'll reinvest those in Treasury, foster both Treasury balance sheet and also a shorter duration. In the meantime, if you freeze the size of the balance sheet, the non-reserve liability, they're going to continue to grow, or because of the size of the balance sheet, you have further shrinkage in reserves. And reserves is the thing that we're managing that has to be. That'll happen for a time, but not a tremendously long time. We don't know exactly how long. But at a certain point, you'll want to start reserves to start gradually to keep up, you know, the size of the banking. So we'll be adding, and that's the last point. Even then, we didn't make decisions about this. We did talk today the composition of the balance sheet, and there's a desire that the balance sheet right now it's got a lot more duration than the outstanding, and we want to move to a place where we're closer to that duration. That'll take some time. We haven't made a decision about the end point, But we all agree that we want to move more of a balance sheet that more closely reflects treasuries, and that means a shorter duration. This is something that's take a long time and move very, very gradually, but that's the direction.
Janelle Marte with Bloomberg. How are officials interpreting the latest CPI? So some components came in lower than expected, but core was still at 3%.
Yeah, they're going to start printing more money. Yeah, chat.
What are you learning about the drivers? And also, do you view that the risks are greater that the Fed makes a mistake on them?
So the September CPI report, we didn't get PPI after. It's important for translation into what we look at, which is PCE inflation. But we can still make a pretty good assessment on when we get PPI. There be some. So directionally, it was a little softer than expected, and we always break it down into the three. Basically, you've seen goods prices increasing, and that's due compared to a longer run, very, very. So that's moving inflation. On the other side of that, housing services has been coming down. So if you remember, a couple of years ago, that's the one that's expecting it to do that. Now it's doing that. Leaves the biggest category is services, and that's kind of been moving sideways last few months. A significant part of that is non-market, and we don't take a lot about the tightness of the. So if you add all that up, a couple things to say. One is that inflation away from tariffs is actually not so far from. We estimate people have different 5 or 6 tenths. It's 2.8 at core PCE. Not including might be 2.3 or 2. So that's not so far from. We look at that. The thing about tariff inflation, the base case is that it will come. It probably will increase further, but it is that it will be a one-time. We've been very focused all of this.
Well, inflation is a derivative, chat. It is not. So it's about the rate of change. It's not about the price level. So when you have tariffs come in and raise the prices by a fixed amount permanently, as far as the Fed's concerned, that's transitory.
At making sure that's thinking carefully about what are the pathways through which it could become something else.
This is also why the Democrats lost the election, because they kept going like, oh, inflation was transitory, and now the rate of inflation is down, and all the like wonky nerds were like, those idiots think inflation is high, and it's like, no, people were using the term inflation to refer to price levels. Price levels are up and they stayed elevated. They didn't go back down, which would have meant negative inflation or deflation.
One of those were, a really tight labor market. We don't see that. Another could be. So I think, we're watching this very carefully. I think it's not the case that we're just assuming, and we understand fully that
the stubborn in services. And what are some of the things that the Fed could do to address that, especially when we're seeing potentially labor?
Sorry, say the first.
The stubborn services inflation that you mentioned.
Services inflation. Again, the part of services inflation that is, as we would like it, the non-market. Overall, that's just something we expect will come down. The non-market part of it, higher stock price. But also just, we think policy is still modestly restricted. That's the kind of thing that should lead to a gradually cooling economy. That's one of the reasons you see a gradually cooling labor market.
Gradually, by the way.
Fed policy is modestly restrictive. So that should also. I want to say, though, we're absolutely committed to. If you look at longer-term surveys,
yeah, they cut it a quarter point.
You will see that's incredible.
All right, well, stock market took a little bit of a cut, but they're bouncing off the lows as he keeps talking. Ironically, the Treasury bond, the rates went up when he cut, which means people started selling their treasuries for cash. Two Fed dissented. Miriam wanted a bigger cut, and Schmid voted for no easing at all. The decision to lower interest rates by 25 basis points in October was never a doubt, but the unexpected hawkish dissent for the regional Fed president highlights that future moves are becoming more contentious. We expect the Fed to slow the pace of cuts from here. All right, chat, I'm going to call it there. Thanks for hanging out with me today, chat. I'm sending you to Vio. Vio has even more interesting things to tell you about the state of the platform. So thank you all for hanging out with me today. Stay safe out there. Sorry for losing the internet for 10 fucking seconds. Vio, are you not streaming? You said you were streaming. Just press go live. All right, well, I'm rating everyone to your offline chat anyway. All right, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow. And be careful out there. Solidarity forever. I'll see you soon. Wait, was Little Bear online?